Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Konoha. I have all-knowing and all-powerful shop at the Naruto world. Chapter 41. Yunshao saw that Zetsu's head tilted and there was no movement. He thought Zetsu was angry to death. Zetsu, don't scare me. Yunshao shook Zetsu's body frantically, but Zetsu didn't react at all. Zetsu, don't die. Yunshao said, and slapped Zetsu's face. Pa, what will happen to my 40 billion if you die? Pa, think about your old mother on the moon, what will happen to her if you die? Pa, you must live strong. Pa, after Yunshao's slaps, the right half of Zetsu's face was swollen. Yunshao looked at his masterpiece and was a little at a loss. He originally just wanted to wake up Zetsu, but he didn't expect to hit too hard, and Zetsu's face was deformed. Just when Yunshao didn't know what to do, he saw Zetsu's eyes slowly open, looking around in confusion, as if he had not yet fully woken up. Yunshao was delighted when he saw this. It seemed that his method was still effective, so he quickly said, Zetsu, you finally woke up. I didn't expect that he could bring Zetsu back from the brink of death with just a few slaps. This is simply a miracle. Zetsu, who had just woken up from a coma, felt a burning pain on the right side of his face. He subconsciously covered his face that was swollen by Yunshao's slap. What's wrong with me? Didn't Zetsu remember that he fainted from anger? Why did his face hurt so much when he woke up? Did he fall sideways just now? No, he clearly remembered that he fell straight to the ground. It was impossible for him to fall on his face. So, he looked at Yunshao and asked in a confused manner, Boss, why does my face hurt so much? Yunshao smiled and said, just now I saw you fainted again. I was afraid that your life was in danger, so I slapped you a few times, hoping that this would wake you up. But it seems that my method is very effective. How do you feel now? As he said, Yunshao stretched out his red palm to show Zetsu, in order to save you, I didn't hold back at all. Yunshao's palm still feels hot now. After hearing what Yunshao said, Zetsu was speechless. He didn't expect Yunshao to wake him up in this way. But he also knew that Yunshao was concerned, so he didn't blame him. Zetsu touched his swollen cheeks and smiled bitterly. It's okay, it just hurts a little. That's good, that's good. As he said, Yunshao helped Zetsu stand up. After Zetsu stood firm, he rubbed his temples to try to relieve the symptoms of dizziness. He secretly thanked himself for waking up quickly, otherwise who knows what excessive things Yunshao would do. Boss, can you tell me the exact location of Afei? Heiju gritted his teeth. Yunshao smiled and said, of course, only 5 million taels. Heiju nodded, and quickly took out 5 million taels and handed them to Yunshao. Yunshao took the money and put it away, then said, wait a minute. He took the laptop on the chair. He spent a full 1 million taels to buy this laptop, which has powerful functions and can be said to be omnipotent. Of course, I use the sky eye to find someone. Yunshao muttered to himself while typing skillfully on the keyboard, and then a satellite view quickly appeared on the screen. Through this view, it can be clearly seen that a group of white Zetsu are gathering together. Yunshao was a little curious, what are these white Zetsu doing? So he slowly enlarged the picture. As the picture gradually became clear, he was surprised to find that in the middle of the group of white Zetsu, there was a heart-shaped thing. The more he looked at it, the more it looked like feces. No, it was clearly a pile of feces. Yunshao looked at the scene in front of him and felt a chill, and the corners of his mouth began to twitch uncontrollably. You white Zetsu are still good at playing. He was speechless about the behavior of the white Zetsu. At this time, Black Zetsu on the side saw Afei appear on the screen, and he was immediately furious. He gritted his teeth and asked, Boss, where are they exactly now? Yunshao quickly checked the coordinates and replied, it's near a fruit forest north of the border of the Fire Country. Thank you, boss, I will never let them go. Black Zetsu roared. Seeing Black Zetsu's angry look, Yunshao patted his shoulder and said earnestly, Black Zetsu, your vision is still too small. Black Zetsu was confused and didn't know what the word meant. Yunxia clenched her fist and then released it, you need to open up your mind. Those who betray you can get more than 2 billion, then those who are loyal to you in the future can get tens of billions. Quote. Understand the applause. Black Zetsu was still confused and asked in confusion, "Boss, I don't understand what you are talking about." Yunxiao sighed helplessly and explained patiently, "Although a Fae took more than 2 billion from you, you can't kill it, because a Fae alive is more valuable than dead. You can let them set up an intelligence organization, use the ability of White Zetsu to obtain various intelligence, and then sell the collected intelligence to those who need it at a high price. In this way, you can not only recover the cost, but also earn tens of billions or even more wealth." Quote. "Understand the applause," Yunxiao said, with a confident smile on his face. At this time, Yunxiao looked like a master of success speech in his previous life. Pa pa pa. After hearing this, Black Zetsu's eyes suddenly lit up, and he clapped his hands in excitement. Now after Yunxiao's reminder, he realized that there was such a shortcut to make money. Although White Zetsu's combat power is not strong, it is indeed very suitable for intelligence. And in this way, he has another source of income, and can make more money. I believe that it won't be long before he can make 40 billion and then revive his mother." Thinking of this, Black Zetsu looked at Yunxiao with gratitude, and bowed quickly, "Thank you boss for telling me this way to make money." Yunxiao smiled and patted his shoulder. "You're welcome, as long as you keep working hard, I believe you can revive your mother soon." Hearing this, Black Zetsu nodded firmly, "I will work hard to make money." "Okay, get to work," Yunxiao encouraged. "Okay, boss, I'll go make money first," Heiju said excitedly, and then hurriedly left the store. He couldn't wait to find Fei and the others, and then let them carry out intelligence work. After Heiju left, Yunxiao showed a relieved smile on his face. Heiju's attitude was very good. As long as he kept making money and came to him to spend money, Yunxiao could get more commissions. A fruit forest somewhere in the land of fire. "You should eat more fruits so that you can poop enough," Fei said, grabbing a handful of fruits and stuffing them into his mouth. "Understood, Master Fei," the White Zetsu echoed in unison. After receiving Fei's instructions, they immediately took action. The White Zetsu climbed up the fruit trees and picked the fruits and put them into their mouths. Even though most of the fruits on the trees were not yet ripe, they didn't mind. After all, as long as they could poop enough, everything was worth it. "That's it, eat more," Fei shouted excitedly. Seeing the White Zetsu being so obedient, it felt very satisfied. At this moment, Fei suddenly covered his stomach with a painful expression on his face. Then, a strange feeling came from deep inside his body, and Fei was immediately ecstatic. "Haha, the urge to poop finally came, I must poop the most perfect poop this time." However, at this time, there was a lot of noise around, which made Fei a little upset. It felt that it needed a quiet environment to concentrate so that it could poop perfectly. So, Fei covered his stomach and quickly ran to the bushes nearby. "Perfect poop, here I come," Fei said to himself, looking forward to the critical moment. At this moment, it was extremely excited, as if it had seen the perfect poop appear in front of it. It squatted on the ground, frowning, as if brewing something. "Underground. It should be here." Heiju stopped on the road and looked not far away. There was a fruit forest there. If he remembered correctly, this was the place Yunxiao said. Heiju decided to sneak to the ground to see if it was the fruit forest where Fei and the others were hiding. In order to avoid alerting the enemy, Heiju carefully poked his head out of the ground. However, when he just poked his head out of the ground, he was surprised to find a white object facing his face. Black Zetsu was a little confused for a moment, and had no idea what it was. So, he subconsciously looked at it, wanting to see clearly what the white object was. "Why does it look so much like a butt?" Black Zetsu muttered to himself, full of doubts. Suddenly, he reacted suddenly, widened his eyes, and said in disbelief, "This is really a butt." It turned out that the white object was someone's buttocks, and this person was squatting on the ground with his back to Black Zetsu. Before he could retract his head, he heard a loud, crackling sound, and a pile of white excrement poured down and sprayed directly on Black Zetsu's face. "Ha, comfortable." Fei took a long breath, and then he turned his head excitedly to look, wanting to see his masterpiece. When he looked back, he was surprised to find that there was a black head on his poop. Fei was frightened and his face turned pale, which made his originally white face even whiter. "Didn't it eat fruit?" Why did it pull out a head? It covered its mouth and exclaimed, "Oh my god, I pulled out a head." Hearing Afei's exclamation, the other white Zetsu gathered around curiously and looked at the head on the ground carefully. "Master Afei, you are really amazing," a white Zetsu exclaimed. "How did Master Afei pull out this black and white feces?" Another white Zetsu also asked curiously. "Do you think this piece of feces looks like Master Black Zetsu?" Suddenly, a white Zetsu put forward an amazing point of view, which made the other white Zetsu stunned. Hearing this, the white Zetsu began to carefully look at the black and white excrement on the ground. Their eyes were focused and serious, as if they were studying a precious work of art. "Don't you dare say, this is exactly the same," a white Zetsu exclaimed, and it gestured with its hand to make a circle the size of a head. It felt that this size was the same as Master Black Zetsu's head. "It bounces back." Another white Zetsu curiously poked the black Zetsu on the ground with his hand and felt a strange elasticity. However, as time went on, the expressions of the white Zetsu gradually changed from curiosity to shock, and finally to fear. They suddenly realized that something was wrong. The shit on the ground might not be ordinary shit, but real black Zetsu. After a while, Black Zetsu made a sharp explosion. "Ah! Ah Fei, I'm going to kill you." His voice was full of anger, which made people shudder. But Black Zetsu did not go to trouble Ah Fei right away, but jumped into the river next to him. "Ah, it's really Black Zetsu. People." Ah Fei held his head and screamed, running fast while screaming. Ah Fei knew that if he fell into the hands of Black Zetsu, he would die miserably, so he chose to run away without any hesitation. Seeing this, the white Zetsu were in a mess. What should I do? What should I do? Lord Black Zetsu actually caught up with me. Ah Fei, who had already run 2 miles, heard the exclamations of the white Zetsu behind him, and turned back again. He shouted, "Oi, you fools, what are you still doing? Run now." Hearing this, the white Zetsu reacted, "Yes, it's too late if you don't run now." Just as they were about to move, the cold voice of Black Zetsu sounded from behind them. "Where are you going to run to?" The creepy voice of Black Zetsu made the white Zetsu instantly stiffen in place, and cold sweat broke out all over their bodies. "It's over. It's over. It's completely over now." The white Zetsu turned around trembling and looked at the dark-faced Black Zetsu behind them. "Master Black Zetsu, we were just passing by," a white Zetsu explained tremblingly. Black Zetsu ignored it, but stared at Ah Fei at the back. The white Zetsu turned aside one after another, leaving Ah Fei completely exposed to Black Zetsu's sight. Seeing this, Ah Fei laughed awkwardly. "Ah ha ha, Master Black Zetsu, long time no see, where have you been making money recently?" Quote. Zetsu didn't say anything, his eyes were still fixed on Ah Fei. Ah Fei's forehead was covered with cold sweat. Could it be that Lord Zetsu knew that I had embezzled public funds? It's impossible. I did it so covertly, no one should have found out. But looking at Lord Zetsu's expression now, it seems that he really knew. What should I do? Should I admit it? No, if I admit it, Lord Zetsu will definitely punish me. Ah Fei was very conflicted, but in the end he made up his mind that he would never admit it, so he said innocently, "Lord Zetsu, what happened?" Quote. Black Zetsu remained silent, but his eyes became colder. Ah Fei's legs were shaking. He knew that Black Zetsu must have known about his embezzlement of public funds. Is Lord Black Zetsu going to punish him here? Thinking of this, Ah Fei's face turned extremely pale. At this moment, the surrounding white Zetsu suddenly knelt down to Black Zetsu and shouted in unison, "Lord Black Zetsu, please make the decision for us." Black Zetsu. Ah Fei. The two looked at the white Zetsu kneeling on the ground in confusion, not knowing what had happened. "Woo woo woo, Lord Black Zetsu, Ah Fei took all your money, it's none of our business." "Lord Black Zetsu, we are your most loyal subordinates, please don't kill us." "That's right, Lord Black Zetsu, all this is to blame on Ah Fei, the traitor, who instigated everyone to betray you." Hearing this, Ah Fei looked at the white Zetsu kneeling on the ground with great pain, his body trembling slightly, and his outstretched fingers trembling constantly, pointing at them and saying, "You fools, you actually betrayed your master for glory." It really didn't expect that these white Zetsu, who always humbly asked it how to poop perfectly, would actually betray it at such a critical moment. Hearing Afei's words, the white Zetsu lowered their heads and buried their heads deep in the ground, not daring to look up at Afei. Afei sighed deeply, slowly closed his eyes, a bitter smile appeared on his face, and then he said in a heroic tone, "Forget it, although I die today. I am still the creator of perfect poop." After saying this, Afei stopped talking and stood quietly waiting for death to come. Hearing Afei's words, the eyes of the white Zetsu kneeling on the ground became red, and tears rolled in their eyes. They couldn't help but recall the good times when they had pooped with Afei, and their hearts were full of reluctance and sadness. However, they knew that they had to survive, so they could only choose to betray Afei. Although they were very painful in their hearts, this was also a helpless move. Afei was indeed a good leader, but now he was about to get a box lunch. "We respectfully send off Lord Afei," the white Zetsu shouted in unison. After seeing this scene, the corners of the black Zetsu's mouth twitched. "Is there something strange mixed in? Who said I want to kill you?" Just then, Black Zetsu's voice rang in the ears of the white Zetsu. The white Zetsu looked at Black Zetsu with joy. "Lord Black Zetsu, are you really not going to kill us?" Black Zetsu nodded. "Although you fools stole 2.6 billion from me, I am still willing to give you a chance to make amends." Hearing this, Afei, who was originally ready to die calmly, suddenly opened his eyes and looked at Black Zetsu in disbelief. It didn't expect that they had done such an excessive thing, and Lord Black Zetsu was willing to give them a chance. Plop. Afei immediately knelt on the ground, kowtowed to Black Zetsu frantically, and cried bitterly, "Woo, Lord Black Zetsu, I was wrong, I shouldn't have embezzled public funds. I just want to know what it feels like to defecate." The white Zetsu looked at Afei with complicated expressions. If only Afei secretly took the money to transform his body, then even if Lord Black Zetsu knew about it, he might not blame him too much. However, Afei did not choose to hide this secret, but told everyone about it and wanted everyone to experience the fun of eating together, and finally spent all the money of Lord Black Zetsu. And not long ago, when Lord Black Zetsu suddenly appeared, they were frightened and at a loss, and it was Afei who had already left, risking being caught, and chose to return to remind them to run away quickly. If Afei had not come back just now, it would definitely have escaped successfully. Although Afei often seems to be unserious as a leader, and even keen on studying strange things such as feces, everyone can find fun in it. He is undoubtedly an excellent leader. However, they are ungrateful to Afei as a leader because they are afraid of death. Now thinking back, it is really shameful. A white Zetsu suddenly slapped himself hard and blamed himself. "We are simply not human." At this time, another white Zetsu responded softly, "Have you forgotten? We are not human beings." This sentence was like a sharp sword, deeply hurting the hearts of all the white Zetsu. Black Zetsu looked at the group of white Zetsu kneeling on the ground indifferently, and said lightly, "Okay, all get up, I have decided to give you a chance to make up for your mistakes." Hearing this, the white Zetsu felt relieved and stood up one after another. They looked at Black Zetsu with tears of gratitude, looking forward to a new beginning. So, Black Zetsu explained his plan to the white Zetsu in detail. He hoped to establish a powerful intelligence organization and make money by selling this intelligence. He believed that as long as the white Zetsu worked hard, they would be able to achieve great success. Black Zetsu promised that if the intelligence was sold successfully, each white Zetsu would receive 1/10 of the value of the intelligence sold as a reward. Black Zetsu knew that if you want a horse to run fast, you must give it enough fodder. If there is no incentive mechanism, they may choose to run away with the money like last time, and he will have no place to cry when he cries. Therefore, he proposed this attractive reward plan to stimulate the enthusiasm of the white Zetsu. Sure enough, the white Zetsu blushed with excitement after listening to the goals and promises of Black Zetsu. They shouted in unison, "Guarantee to complete the task." After all, this time Black Zetsu not only forgave their fault of embezzling public funds, but also gave them a brand new opportunity. Moreover, they can also set up their own intelligence organization, and every transaction will have a generous commission, which undoubtedly makes them very excited. The white Zetsu's eyes flashed with greed, and their hearts were full of longing for the future. They were eager to prove their abilities and win the trust and recognition of Black Zetsu again. And all this depends on whether they can successfully establish a strong intelligence network and realize Black Zetsu's expectations. Okay, hurry up and collect information. Don't let me down again this time. Black Zetsu said and looked at Afei. Seeing this, Afei quickly promised, we will never let down Lord Black Zetsu's trust. White Zetsu quickly spread out and began to collect information everywhere in the ninja world. White Zetsu collected all kinds of information, even the number of piglets born by a villager's sow. They recorded it in detail. What if someone was really curious about this kind of thing? So White Zetsu appeared everywhere in the ninja world. Konoha village, Hokage building. The third Hokage was concentrating on staring at the picture in the crystal ball, drooling. He didn't notice that there was a White Zetsu behind him who was silently taking notes with a pen. The third Hokage peeped into the women's bathhouse. I wonder how much this information is worth. Who? The third Hokage suddenly looked back, but didn't see any figure. It seems that I am too suspicious. The third Hokage focused his attention on the crystal ball again. This is so hot. It was a close call. I was almost discovered. Outside the Hokage building, the White Zetsu murmured. Similar things are happening all over the ninja world. Inside the secret base, in front of Black Zetsu was a thick stack of information, which was the information about the ninja world that White Zetsu and his team had spent a lot of time and energy to collect yesterday. He turned to the first page and saw that it said, an old sow gave birth to 21 piglets in the middle of the night, and both mother and children are safe. Black Zetsu's mouth twitched slightly, wondering what kind of information this was. He continued to flip through the next page, but what he saw was, Widow Wang from the next village has been secretly in love with Zhang Mazi from the same village for a long time, and is ready to force herself on him tonight. Black Zetsu couldn't help but swear, can this be considered information? He shook his head and continued to flip through the information behind. In the land of water, a group of old sows lined up to jump into the ditch. In the land of wind, the third son of the fourth Kazekage Rasa is being bullied by the villagers. Black Zetsu looked at the information in his hand, his face was full of black lines, and he cursed, why do these guys collect all kinds of messed up information? He only read 4 pieces of information in total, 3 of which were worthless garbage information. The only useful information was the news that the fourth Kazekage's son was bullied, but it was actually not very useful. After all, who would be willing to spend money to buy such boring information? Black Zetsu felt a headache, and he began to doubt whether his decision to let White Zetsu establish an intelligence organization was correct. If this goes on, they will not only fail to obtain valuable information, but may also waste a lot of time and resources. However, Black Zetsu is still a little curious, why would a group of old sows line up to jump into the ditch? Is it because the weather is too hot? These sows can't stand the heat, so they go to the ditch to take a bath. After Black Zetsu came to his senses, he immediately shook his head and threw away the strange thoughts in his mind. He continued to look through the information in his hand. When Black Zetsu saw the last piece of information, he widened his eyes in shock and suddenly exclaimed, I didn't expect that the third Hokage would have such a fetish. Black Zetsu's heart was full of shock and disbelief. He could never have imagined that the third Hokage, who could be called the professor of ninjutsu, would do such a thing. However, Black Zetsu did not stop because of this, but continued to read more excitedly. I really didn't expect that the Hokage, who looks glamorous on the surface, has such an unknown side behind the scenes. This discovery made Black Zetsu sigh that the behavior of the third Hokage was so shameless that even he was shocked. You can't know a person's heart by knowing his face. Black Zetsu muttered to himself. But Black Zetsu seemed to have thought of something. He suddenly put his hands on his waist and laughed at the sky, ha ha ha. His laughter echoed in the base. After a long time, Black Zetsu stopped. He rubbed his hands excitedly, and his eyes flashed with excitement. He, didn't expect that I caught you with the handle. Black Zetsu said to himself. He had already thought about it. He must use this handle to blackmail him and must blackmail him for 300 million or 500 million. If Sarutobi Hiruzen disagreed, Black Zetsu would spread this information to the ninja world. Then, where would Sarutobi Hiruzen put his face? Thinking of this, he couldn't wait to leave the base and ran towards the direction of Konoha village. The information floated in the air and finally fell slowly to the ground. It was written on it, the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen was observing the women's bathhouse through a crystal ball in his office. When he saw the exciting scene, his nose was bleeding. After hearing the noise outside, he was able to cut off the scene in the crystal ball at a very fast speed. Judging from the proficiency of this action, he is definitely a habitual offender. Quote. This information described the abnormal behavior of the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen in detail, which completely changed Black Zetsu's impression of him. Black Zetsu has made up his mind to take this opportunity to make a fortune. He now understands the benefits of establishing an intelligence organization. Not only can they sell intelligence to those who need it, but they can also use the intelligence in their hands to threaten the parties and then profit from it. The boss is worthy of being the boss. He has a business mind. Black Zetsu praised. He now knows the horror of Yunshao. At that time, he only seemed to be able to make a profit by giving him a few seemingly casual instructions. Black Zetsu was more respectful to Yunshao in his heart. Konoha Village, Hokage Building. This one is too small, not good, this one is a bit old, it's starting to sag. Sarutobi Hiruzen commented while looking at the picture in the crystal ball. Suddenly, he seemed to have discovered something extraordinary, and directly put his face on the crystal ball. After a long time, he gestured in the air with his hands, showing a lewd smile on his face. This one is so big, if I can touch it, I will die without regrets. Look at it. At this moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen felt his nose was a little wet. He subconsciously touched it with his hand and saw that his fingers were covered with blood. Nosebleed again. It seems that I have to be more restrained during this period. As he said this, he began to look for napkins in the office, but his eyes never left the crystal ball. Black Zetsu, who had just arrived at the Hokage's office, was completely dumbfounded when he saw this scene. It turned out that Sarutobi Hiruzen's shamelessness was more serious than he imagined. He was about to come out of the dark to talk to Sarutobi Hiruzen about this matter, but he suddenly heard footsteps outside the door. Black Zetsu knew that someone was coming, so he gave up the idea of coming out now and decided to observe in secret. Bang! The door of the Hokage's office was pushed open, and a man with a bandage on his left eye walked in. The man was the strongest scapegoat of the Hokage, Shimura Danzo. There are thousands of scapegoats for Konoha, and Danzo Shimura takes most of them. Danzo can be said to be the source of all evil. All tragedies related to Konoha are basically Danzo's fault, because Danzo has done too many bad things, so whenever there is something that cannot be explained, he can blame Danzo. In Naruto, if there is a ninjutsu that no one knows who created it, it must be created by Tobirama Senju. If there is a tragedy that no one knows who caused it, it must be caused by Danzo. After all, looking at the history of Naruto, Konoha White Fang committed suicide, Nagato turned evil, Hanzo betrayed, Minato and his wife died in battle, Orochimaru defected, Shisui fell off a cliff, Uchiha was exterminated, and Kabuto Yakushi got lost. All these things are the fault of Danzo Shimura. He will be the 5.5th generation pot shadow of Konoha in the future, but everyone must not treat the pot shadow as a shadow. After all, the fourth Hokage sealed the nine tails with his life, the third Hokage sealed the snake hand with his life, and the fifth Hokage will seal a bridge with his life. Of course, these are all later stories. In the Hokage's office, Shimura Danzo suddenly broke in, which made Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was looking for a napkin, unable to react for a while. At this moment, a voice suddenly came from the crystal ball. Ouch, are you blushing? Let me see how you are growing. No, you are so annoying. Hearing the voice, Sarutobi Hiruzen finally reacted. He ignored his nosebleed and hurriedly turned off the crystal ball. Shimura Danzo looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with a black face. He didn't expect that after so many years, the other party's habit of peeping has not changed. Ahem, Danzo, you must knock on the door next time you come in. Sarutobi Hiruzen said with his hand covering his nose. Shimura Danzo never knocked on the door when he entered the Hokage's office. He always pushed the door directly in. Sarutobi Hiruzen had told him many times about this before. But Danzo always agreed verbally, but never changed. This time, it was because he didn't knock on the door that made him so embarrassed. In the shadows, Black Zetsu muttered, didn't the intelligence say that the third Hokage reacted quickly? Shimura Danzo has been here for a long time, but he didn't think of cutting off the scene. Is he too involved? Shimura Danzo ignored Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, but said with a gloomy expression, Hiruzen, the root has found that the Uchiha have already shown signs of rebellion. Hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen was shocked. He stood up suddenly and said in disbelief, Danzo, are you telling the truth? Although his old friend usually did a lot of bad things, he felt that the other party would not lie to him about things related to the interests of the village, because Sarutobi Hiruzen knew that his old friend loved the village as much as he did. Shimura Danzo nodded and said, the radicals in the Uchiha clan have expressed their desire to launch a coup many times before, but they were all stopped by Uchiha Fugaku. However, there are more and more radicals in the clan recently, and now Uchiha Fugaku has begun to waver. Hearing Shimura Danzo's explanation, Sarutobi Hiruzen silently picked up the pipe on the table, put it in his mouth, lit it, took a deep breath, and then slowly exhaled a smoke ring. In the smoke, Sarutobi Hiruzen fell into deep thought. As one of the strongest families in Konoha village, the Uchiha clan has a powerful eye technique. However, as time went by, the relationship between them and the village gradually became tense. Now, the news brought by Danzo made Sarutobi Hiruzen even more worried. If the Uchiha clan really decided to rebel, it would bring a huge crisis to the village. Their strength should not be underestimated. Once a conflict breaks out, it will cause a lot of casualties and damage to the village. Sarutobi Hiruzen knew this very well, so he had to handle the matter with caution. He couldn't easily believe Danzo's one-sided words, but he couldn't ignore this potential threat. At this time, the Uchiha clan did have signs of rebellion. Due to historical reasons such as Uchiha Madara's defection, the suspicion of the Nine Tails Rebellion, and the Uchiha clan's dissatisfaction with the family's status in the village, the Uchiha clan wanted to launch a coup to change this situation. He took a deep breath, took the pipe from his mouth, looked at Danzo and said, I will personally investigate this matter. Shimura Danzo frowned. Hiruzen, the Uchiha clan's rebellious heart can no longer be contained. We should take action immediately to eliminate them. Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head. No, this will cause greater chaos, and there are still many innocent people in the Uchiha clan. We need to find a more appropriate solution. Hearing this, Shimura Danzo said dissatisfiedly, the Uchiha clan has already had the idea of rebellion, why not suppress them directly with thunder? Shimura Danzo felt that he was not afraid of thieves stealing, but he was afraid of thieves thinking about it. If the Uchiha is thinking about rebellion, but pretending nothing happened on the surface, this is the most terrifying. Because you have no idea when the other party will suddenly launch a coup. Sarutobi Hiruzen took another deep puff of his pipe, exhaled a smoke ring, and then said, isn't the Uchiha still rebellious? There is definitely a chance for all this to turn around. Upon hearing this, Shimura Danzo was so angry that he trembled all over, and his veins popped up. He pointed at Sarutobi Hiruzen and shouted angrily. You idiot, you told the Uchiha about this, isn't this alarming the snake? What if the Uchiha directly launched a coup? He really couldn't understand Sarutobi Hiruzen's brain circuit. He knew that the Uchiha had already shown signs of rebellion, but he didn't want to suppress it directly, but wanted to reconcile with the other party. Shimura Danzo became angrier and angrier. He slammed the table and stood up, continuing to curse Sarutobi Hiruzen, are you old and confused? Do you think Uchiha will be grateful to you? They only think you are weak and incompetent, easy to bully. You will only make them more arrogant and domineering, thinking that we are afraid of them. Quote. Shimura Danzo suddenly laughed in anger. He looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with a mocking face and sneered, haha, you are playing mercy with me now. Do you know why Uchiha wants to rebel? Because they have opinions about your decision and want to drive you off the position of Hokage, and they will be the Hokage themselves. Can't you even see this? Quote. Sarutobi Hiruzen was scolded by Shimura Danzo. Even though he usually has a good personality, he was a little angry at this moment. Bang! He suddenly slammed the desk and shouted loudly, enough Danzo, I am the Hokage. Quote. Sarutobi Hiruzen's words suddenly stunned Shimura Danzo, and his thoughts could not help but go back to the past. At that time, the second Hokage wanted someone to be a bait to hold the enemy, and he originally wanted to go, but because of the fear of death, he hesitated for a while, and ended up being preempted by Sarutobi Hiruzen. At that time, he was somewhat relieved in his heart, because if someone stood up, he would not have to sacrifice himself. But he did not expect that this was a test for the second Hokage, and he wanted to find a dedicated person to serve as Hokage. Because Sarutobi Hiruzen took the lead, the second Hokage appointed him as the next Hokage, and the second Hokage chose himself as bait to cover their retreat, and eventually sacrificed. Over the years, Shimura Danzo regretted every time he thought of this matter. If he had been more determined at the beginning, perhaps the position of Hokage would be his. Thinking back to the present, Shimura Danzo saw Sarutobi Hiruzen's angry look, and snorted, "As a Hokage, since you are so indecisive, then let me do it myself to solve the Uchiha matter." Quote. Having said that, Shimura Danzo flicked his sleeves and turned away angrily. Sarutobi Hiruzen, holding his pipe in his mouth, silently watched Shimura Danzo's back as he left, wondering what he was thinking. After a long time, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly sighed, then slowly sat on the chair, smoking one cigarette after another. At this time, in the dark, Black Zetsu had a look of great joy on his face, thinking to himself, "Oh my god, Uchiha actually wanted to rebel, but I didn't expect that Shimura Danzo knew about it in advance." Why did Danzo know about it in advance? This is undoubtedly because there was a traitor among the Uchiha clan, who secretly informed Shimura Danzo about this. Black Zetsu originally just wanted to blackmail Sarutobi Hiruzen, but he didn't expect to get an unexpected reward. He thought, if he could find the traitor of the Uchiha clan, and then sell this information to Uchiha Fugaku at a high price, the other party would definitely buy this information. Thinking of this, Black Zetsu's mouth curled up slightly, and he sighed, "In fact, I also have a good business mind, hee." "Who's there? Come out." Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly heard a voice, looked at the direction of Black Zetsu with a torchlight gaze, and shouted coldly. Black Zetsu then realized that he had accidentally exposed himself because of his complacency. So, he slowly got out of the wall, with a smile on his face, saying, "Hee, don't be nervous, Lord Hokage, I'm here to discuss a business with you." Sarutobi Hiruzen was shocked to see a black humanoid creature coming out of the wall of his office. He subconsciously took 2 steps back, looked at Black Zetsu with a vigilant look, and put his hands behind his back so that he could immediately seal and launch ninjutsu if the situation was not right. Black Zetsu saw Sarutobi Hiruzen's nervous look and said cheerfully, "Don't be nervous, Lord Hokage, I really want to discuss a business with you." As he said that, Black Zetsu took out a green stone and put it on his palm. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the stone in Black Zetsu's hand, his face full of confusion, and he had no idea what it was. Seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen's puzzled look, Black Zetsu explained, "This is a shadow stone, which can project everything that happened here within 3 days." When Black Zetsu learned of Sarutobi Hiruzen's handle, he was worried that if he went directly to Sarutobi Hiruzen, he might deny it, so he went to Yunshao and bought a shadow stone at a high price. Black Zetsu's mind moved, and a faint light suddenly came out of the stone, and then a light curtain appeared above the stone. "This one is too small, not good, this one is a bit old, it's starting to sag. Hee, this one is so big, if I can touch it, I will die without regrets." Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the light curtain in shock. The picture showed the scene of him peeping at the women's bathhouse before. What made him feel even more terrible was that not only was his wretched appearance recorded in the picture, but the content in the crystal ball was also extremely clear. After Sarutobi Hiruzen reacted, his face became extremely gloomy, his body began to tremble, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. If this video gets out, he, as the 3rd Hokage of Konoha village, will lose face and his life will be completely ruined. Sarutobi Hiruzen has always been seen as an amiable, kind and benevolent Hokage in the eyes of outsiders. But now, he has been exposed to use a crystal ball to spy on the female bathhouse in private, which is undoubtedly a huge blow to his image. Once this news gets out, the persona he has built up for a lifetime will collapse. Black Zetsu looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen's panic and felt proud in his heart. He knew that as long as Sarutobi Hiruzen felt scared, he could take the opportunity to make higher demands and blackmail him. Black Zetsu said happily, "Hee, I wonder if the Hokage is interested in this business." Sarutobi Hiruzen silently calculated the distance between himself and Black Zetsu, thinking about whether he could suddenly attack and kill the other party. Black Zetsu naturally felt Sarutobi Hiruzen's cold-killing intent. He quickly stepped back a few steps, still smiling, and said, "It seems that Lord Hokage wants to kill people to silence them, but as long as I crush this image stone, this picture will appear in the sky above the entire ninja world, and you may not be able to kill me." Black Zetsu was extremely confident when he said this, because although he was not strong, his ability was extremely special. As long as he wanted to run, no one in the entire ninja world could stop him. Seeing Black Zetsu's confident look, Sarutobi Hiruzen fell silent. He knew that what Black Zetsu said should be true. After a while, he said hoarsely, "What do you want?" "Give me 1 billion, and this image stone is yours," Black Zetsu said with a smile. Hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Black Zetsu with his eyes wide open in disbelief. There was a thief in Konoha village before, which caused all the funds in the village to be stolen, and there is no way to take out so much money. Even if Sarutobi Hiruzen could take out 1 billion, he would definitely it's impossible to agree. Black Zetsu knew that Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't have that much money. After all, he stole the money from Konoha village. How could he not know whether the other party could take it or not? He just wanted to test Sarutobi Hiruzen's reaction. 800 million, Black Zetsu said. Sarutobi Hiruzen still shook his head and refused. 500 million, Sarutobi Hiruzen still shook his head and refused. Black Zetsu realized that Sarutobi Hiruzen was maliciously lowering the price. Even if he had money, he would not be willing to pay so much money. He felt that he was being fooled, so he suddenly sneered, "Hokage, you don't want others to find out that you peeped into the women's bathhouse, do you?" As he said that, Black Zetsu picked up the photo stone and shook it in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes. Seeing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen was stunned. Why didn't Black Zetsu continue to lower the price? He was still thinking about lowering the price to 100 million or 200 million before reluctantly agreeing. This way, a lot of money can be saved. But now Black Zetsu seems to have seen through his little thoughts. He was about to explain, but was interrupted by Black Zetsu. "Okay, if you don't want to lose your reputation, I don't care what method you use, you must get 800 million for me within 3 days. Otherwise, you can wait for everyone in the ninja world to know about your deeds of peeping into the women's bathhouse." After saying that, Black Zetsu didn't look at Sarutobi Hiruzen again, and went underground directly. Only Sarutobi Hiruzen was left alone in the office, and his expression was pale and blue, extremely complicated. After a long time, Sarutobi Hiruzen left the office in a hurry. After Sarutobi Hiruzen left, Black Zetsu poked his head out of the ground. "Hehe, the boss's method is still effective. Yun Xiao had told him before that if you have the strength to overturn the table, you must be strong, otherwise those weak people will take advantage of it." Look, after he left with his harsh words, didn't Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was still arguing with him, go out to collect money? Black Zetsu guessed correctly. Sarutobi Hiruzen did go out to collect money at this time. He felt that compared to 800 million, his later years were more important. After all, as the third generation of Hokage, his reputation and prestige are crucial. Once his peeping in the women's bathhouse is exposed, he will face huge public pressure and moral condemnation, which is a result he does not want to see anyway. Therefore, even if it costs a huge price, he must solve this trouble as soon as possible. Sarutobi clan. Sarutobi Hiruzen hurriedly walked into the clan land. "Clan leader, why are you back?" a member of the Sarutobi clan asked curiously. In addition to being the Hokage of Konoha village, Sarutobi Hiruzen is also the clan leader of the Sarutobi clan. In the past, the clan leader was still in the Hokage's office to handle government affairs at this time, but today, I don't know why he rushed back in a hurry. "Hurry up and notify the elders to come to my house for a meeting," Sarutobi Hiruzen said anxiously. "Got it, clan leader." After hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, he immediately flashed away. Although he was very curious about what happened, he knew that this kind of thing was not something he could know. Sarutobi Hiruzen's house. Sarutobi Hiruzen sat on the chair with a solemn expression, frowning, eyes slightly closed, and his heart was full of anxiety and uneasiness. He was thinking about how to get 800 million to return to Black Zetsu within 3 days. Just then, a slight sound of footsteps came, the door slowly opened, and an old man with gray hair and a serious face walked in. The man was the great elder of the Sarutobi clan, and one of the important figures in the clan. The great elder saw the strangeness of Sarutobi Hiruzen at a glance, and asked with concern, "Hiruzen, what happened that made you so anxious to find us?" Sarutobi Hiruzen raised his head slightly, his eyes were full of bloodshot, and he said in a hoarse voice, "Great elder, wait until the other elders come." After speaking, he sighed softly and continued to fall into deep thought. Seeing this, the great elder frowned. He knew Sarutobi Hiruzen's character very well. If he didn't encounter a major problem, he would never gather them so hastily. Thinking of this, the great elder's heart tightened. Did something happen in the village? Or is there a thorny problem within the family? Time passed by minute, and finally, the remaining elders walked into the room one after another. When they saw the solemn expression on Sarutobi Hiruzen's face, they all had an ominous premonition in their hearts. There are 4 elders in the Sarutobi clan, each of whom is a wise man with rich experience. At this moment, the 4 of them gathered together, and their eyes fell on Sarutobi Hiruzen at the same time, waiting for him to speak. The elder could no longer suppress his anxiety and asked impatiently, "Hiruzen, what happened?" Hearing this, the other elders looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen curiously, wanting to hear his explanation. Sarutobi Hiruzen took a puff of his cigarette and said with a complicated expression, "I was caught by someone. The other party threatened me to give him 800 million, otherwise he would reveal this matter." Hearing this, the first elder widened his eyes, slammed the table, and roared angrily, "What handle dares to ask for 800 million? This guy is simply asking for too much." The second elder was also so angry that his face turned red, and he echoed, "That's right, I think that guy just thinks that our Sarutobi clan is easy to bully." The third elder also clenched his fists and gritted his teeth and said, "We must not give this money." Hearing the words of several elders, Sarutobi Hiruzen lowered his head in shame and whispered, "Actually, I was caught peeping at the women's bathhouse, and the evidence was recorded." Hearing this news, the originally angry elders were stunned, and the expressions on their faces instantly froze. They couldn't believe what they heard, and they widened their eyes and looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen in disbelief. The first elder's angry expression gradually turned into disappointment. He sighed heavily, "Hiruzen, you are so stupid. How could you do such a thing?" The second elder shook his head and sighed, saying with great sorrow, "As a Hokage, you actually did such a thing. How do people in the village view our Sarutobi clan?" The third elder stood up and pointed at Sarutobi Hiruzen and shouted angrily, "Asshole! Do you know what you are doing? What you are doing will not only affect your personal reputation, but also damage the image of the entire family." They really don't understand. Sarutobi Hiruzen is over 60 years old, but he still has a voyeuristic habit. Is this what it means for a man to be a teenager until he dies? Hearing the words of several elders, Sarutobi Hiruzen lowered his head in shame and dared not look at them. At this time, the fourth elder, who had not spoken since entering the house, spoke. "Okay, stop talking. The most urgent thing is to quickly discuss a solution. Old 4 is right. Let's think about what to do now," the great elder said. Hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen breathed a sigh of relief. He looked at the fourth elder with gratitude. "Can we find a chance to kill that guy?" The fourth elder glanced at Sarutobi Hiruzen indifferently. The eyes of the other elders lit up. "Yes, as long as the blackmailer wouldn't it be better to kill the blackmailer? This way, the problem can be solved without paying." "Fourth brother, you are really a genius," the elder said excitedly. Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head with a wry smile. He wanted to do this when he was in the office, but the mysterious ability and confident words of the other party made him know that it would be difficult for him to kill him. Even if he could kill him, it would take a lot of time. During this process, Black Zetsu had already made this matter public. It should be difficult to kill. Sarutobi Hiruzen told the elders what happened in the office. After hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's explanation, the elders were silent, and no one spoke for a while. After a long time, the elder said with a complicated expression, "It seems that we can only pay the money obediently, but where can the family take out so much money?" Sarutobi Hiruzen gritted his teeth and said, "How much you can take out, I will find a way to get the rest of the money. Reduce the family's expenses in the next few years, maybe 200 million. The fourth elder said. I have a coffin book of 10 million, Hiruzen, you can use it, said the elder. All my property is only 5 million. The second elder whispered. If you mortgage all the properties under my name, you can get about 30 million taels. The third elder said. The fourth elder knocked on the table with his hand and looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen. I have 20 million, all of them are given to you, and you can figure out the rest yourself. Sarutobi Hiruzen bowed to the elders and thanked them for their help. Counting his own gains over the years, he can get 300 million at most. The elder patted Sarutobi Hiruzen on the shoulder and said earnestly, Hiruzen, no matter what method you use, you must solve this matter. The future of the family depends on you. Sarutobi Hiruzen's position as Hokage is very important to the Sarutobi clan, because now is the critical period for the Sarutobi clan to be promoted to the Konoha clan, and there must be no mistakes. When the Sarutobi clan first joined Konoha, it was just a small clan, but since Sarutobi Hiruzen became the Hokage, the Sarutobi clan has grown stronger and stronger, and now has a tendency to become a big clan in Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded, and suddenly his eyes lit up, and he knew how to get the remaining 500 million. Hyuga clan land. Hyuga Hiyashi knelt on the ground, poured a cup of tea and placed it opposite. He said respectfully, I wonder what business the Hokage has brought you here for. As the saying goes, no one comes to see the Three Treasures Hall for no reason. He was very curious about what business Sarutobi Hiruzen came to see him for. Sarutobi Hiruzen took a sip of the teacup, and said with a kind smile on his face, Hiyashi, I do need your help this time. I wonder if you are willing to help me. Hyuga Hiyashi became more and more curious. What kind of thing was it that was worth the third Hokage to come here in person? Hokage is too polite. I will do my best to help as long as I can. Hyuga Hiyashi replied with a smile. In recent years, the Hyuga clan has been sending generous gifts and money to the third Hokage, so Hyuga Hiyashi knew that the other party's request would never be too harsh. Hearing such a positive reply from Hyuga Hiyashi, Sarutobi Hiruzen breathed a sigh of relief, and then said, Hiyashi, can you pay the expenses for the next few years in advance? Hyuga Hiyashi was stunned when he heard this. He couldn't believe his ears. The third Hokage actually asked him for money directly without any concealment. Although he has been secretly contributing wealth to the third Hokage over the years, such things have always been done privately and never put on the table. However, now the third Hokage has put this matter in the open, and he can't do it directly. After Hyuga Hiyashi reacted, he smiled and said, the village was destroyed after the Nine Tails Rebellion. I, Hyuga Hiyashi, am willing to donate 10 million taels to rebuild Konoha. He showed a flattering smile on his face, but his heart was bleeding. This 10 million taels is not a small amount for him now. Every year, he pays 5 million taels to the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. After so many years, he has almost reached two small goals. This time he had to donate so much money at once, which made him feel very painful. If it was in the past, it would be fine. Although 10 million is a lot, he can still take out this money as the Hyuga family is rich and powerful. But some time ago, the Hyuga family was robbed and most of the assets of the family were stolen. Now he has to take out such a large sum of money, which makes him feel like a knife. Although he was in great pain, he had no choice. Because he knew that if the Hyuga family wanted to gain a foothold in Konoha village, they had to maintain a good relationship with the Hokage. If they didn't pay the money, they would follow the footsteps of the Uchiha family and be excluded by the whole village. You know, the Uchiha family is one of the families that founded Konoha, but now they have been moved to the edge of Konoha village and are being neglected and discriminated against. Although all this has something to do with the Uchiha's way of dealing with people, it is more because they did not choose to honor the third generation Hokage. This caused the third Hokage to be dissatisfied, and during the Third War, he even sent the Uchiha clan, who were good at fire escape, to the battlefield of the Land of Water. Thinking back to the present, Hyuga Hiruzen was very sincere to take out 10 million for himself, which could definitely satisfy the appetite of the third Hokage. However, what he never expected was that Sarutobi Hiruzen actually shook his head and said earnestly, Hiruzen, I need money for the next 10 years, and you only gave me 2 years. Hearing this, Hyuga Hiruzen widened his eyes and stared at Sarutobi Hiruzen in disbelief, with 1,000 words running through his mind. Is Sarutobi Hiruzen old and confused? How dare he make such an outrageous request? He actually wants to charge 10 years of fees at once. It is still unknown whether he, Sarutobi Hiruzen, can live until then. Why, you don't want to? Sarutobi Hiruzen narrowed his eyes slightly, revealing a hint of threat in his eyes. Hinata Hiyashi looked tangled, and asked cautiously, will 10 years be too much? Don't you think I, an old man, will live to that time? Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned and knocked on the table hard. Don't dare, don't dare. It's just that our Hyuga clan does not have so much money at the moment. Hinata Hiyashi explained helplessly with a look of difficulty. What he said was true. Since the family was robbed by thieves, the current Hyuga clan really can't take out so much cash. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Hinata Hiyashi in silence, revealing an elusive look in his eyes. Hinata Hiyashi couldn't help but feel a little uneasy. Didn't the third Hokage believe him? Hinata Hiyashi hurriedly explained. Hokage-sama, it's not that I don't want to give it to you, it's really that there is not so much money in the family. When I have it, I will definitely send it to you as soon as possible. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded slightly to show his understanding. Seeing this, Hinata Hiyashi was happy in his heart, thinking that the matter was over. However, the next moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen's words made his smile freeze on his face. Since there is no cash flow, then give me the Hyuga clan's several stores on the commercial street. That's it. After saying that, Sarutobi Hiruzen stood up and turned away without hesitation, ignoring Hyuga Hiyashi who was standing there. It was not until Sarutobi Hiruzen's figure disappeared that Hyuga Hiyashi slowly came back to his senses from the shock. He widened his eyes and looked at the door in disbelief, as if he could not accept what had just happened. After a moment, he raised his hand angrily and smashed the table in front of him with a palm, gritting his teeth and said, "How dare this old thing? Do you really think that my Hyuga clan is easy to bully?" After leaving the Hyuga clan, Sarutobi Hiruzen walked straight towards the direction of the three tribes of Ino, Deer and Cho without hesitation. Half an hour later, Sarutobi Hiruzen left the Ino, Deer, and Cho clans, and then rushed to other clans in Konoha without stopping. During this day, he worked tirelessly and visited almost every clan in Konoha village. It was not until late at night that he walked out of an inconspicuous small clan with a happy face, muttering to himself, although this process is really difficult, the money was finally collected. In the darkness, Black Zetsu sighed. I didn't expect that it only took one day for Sarutobi Hiruzen to collect 800 million. It seems that it was still less at the beginning. But, will this guy really have no problems doing this? Black Zetsu asked doubtfully. He witnessed with his own eyes the scene where the clan leaders of those families gathered together to discuss countermeasures after Sarutobi Hiruzen left. Looking at the angry faces of those clan leaders, I am afraid that Sarutobi Hiruzen's position as Hokage will not be able to continue to sit safely. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen was still immersed in the joy of collecting the money, not knowing at all that the clan leaders were already thinking about how to get him out of office. Sarutobi Hiruzen's residence. Hiruzen, have you collected the money? The elder said nervously. Don't worry, the elder has already solved it. Sarutobi Hiruzen said happily. Hearing this, several elders looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen in disbelief. They didn't expect Sarutobi Hiruzen to collect 500 million in half a day. They originally thought that if it didn't work, they would mortgage all the properties in the clan. Hiruzen, how did you do it? The other elders also looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen curiously, wanting to hear how he did it. It was incredible. Sarutobi Hiruzen told several elders what happened. After hearing his explanation, the elders looked tangled. This way your prestige in the village will be greatly reduced. It's better to lose prestige than to lose the position of Hokage. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed. Hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, the other elders remained silent. It was true. As long as the position of Hokage was still there, the rest would be discussed later. I'm a little tired. I'm going to rest first. Sarutobi Hiruzen said tiredly. On this day, he ran between various families of Konoha village, exhausted both physically and mentally. When he walked into the room and lay on the comfortable bed, he just closed his eyes and heard a slight noise coming from the room. Who? Sarutobi Hiruzen opened his eyes alertly, sat up from the bed in an instant, and scanned the surroundings with sharp eyes. At this moment, a black shadow slowly rose from the ground. He, Lord Hokage, don't be so nervous, I'm here to get the money. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face became very ugly. He never expected that just after raising the money, Black Zetsu had come to his door. Obviously, he was under the other party's close surveillance all day. He took out a scroll from his arms and said seriously, the money is in here, give me the photo stone. However, Black Zetsu was unmoved, his mouth corners slightly raised, and he sneered, give me the money first, and I will give you the photo stone, otherwise, forget it. He was not stupid, and he knew that if he handed over the photo stone first, Sarutobi Hiruzen would probably regret it. After all, there was no trust between them. Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression froze. He did have this idea, but he didn't expect that Black Zetsu would notice it. He could only throw the scroll over. After Black Zetsu checked it, he happily put the photo stone on the ground. Lord Hokage is so straightforward, I will find you if I have business in the future. Black Zetsu said, and sneaked into the ground and left. Hearing what Black Zetsu said, Sarutobi Hiruzen's mouth twitched. It's better not to find him for this kind of business in the future. On the other side, the Hyuga clan land. At this time, dozens of people gathered in the clan land, all of whom were the patriarchs of the major families in Konoha village. Their faces were solemn, and they were obviously annoyed by Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen is really crazy because of poverty. Hyuga Hiashi cursed. That's right, he actually asked for 10 million taels directly from me. The head of a small family slammed the table angrily. He even used coercion and inducement. Another head said with gritted teeth. Nara Shikaku, what do you think of this? Hyuga Hiashi turned to ask the man next to him. Everyone cast their curious eyes on Nara Shikaku. After all, the Nara family is famous for its wisdom and is considered the smartest family in Konoha. The three tribes of Ino, Shika and Cho had always been supporters of Sarutobi Hiruzen, but today Sarutobi Hiruzen's behavior was too much, which made them rebellious. I think the third generation Hokage is too old and not suitable to continue to serve as Hokage. Nara Shikaku said softly. Yes, now Konoha village needs a young and energetic leader who can lead the future to lead the village. Yamanaka Inoichi echoed. So, what should we do? Asked Akamichi Choza. A sly look flashed in Nara Shikaku's eyes, and he said with a smile, since the third Hokage is unkind, we can't be blamed for being unjust. Then, Nara Shikaku explained his plan in detail to everyone. After listening, everyone nodded in agreement and praised the plan. Haha, this is a good idea. Nara Shikaku suddenly remembered an important thing, and he remember to tell the Uchiha clan about this. They have been dissatisfied with the third Hokage for a long time, and their support is indispensable for this action. Yes, how can such an important thing be without Uchiha? Then, the group hurriedly left the Hyuga clan and headed towards the Uchiha clan. Uchiha clan. When Uchiha Fugaku saw the clan leaders, his heart was shocked and he almost jumped up. He secretly complained in his heart, could it be that the third Hokage already knew about the Uchiha's conspiracy to rebel? However, when he heard Hyuga Hiashi's he explained, the nervousness in his heart was instantly replaced by surprise. It turned out that these people came to discuss how to force the third Hokage to abdicate. Uchiha Fugaku's breathing became rapid, and he couldn't believe his ears. Yesterday they were still discussing how to launch a coup. Unexpectedly, the patriarchs of these families actually took the initiative to come to him to discuss this matter. It's really a pillow for a sleepy person. In this case, my Uchiha clan is willing to fully support your plan. We must act as soon as possible and can't delay any longer. Uchiha Fugaku said excitedly. The next day, have you heard? The patriarchs of the major families of Konoha are now gathered outside the Hokage building, and they claim that there are major things to announce. Is it true? Then I have to go and see it. After learning this shocking news, the villagers and ninjas of Konoha village rushed to the Hokage building, wanting to know what happened. Outside the Hokage building, it was already crowded with people standing in 3 layers inside and outside. They all looked curiously at the clan leaders above, whispering and speculating on what was about to happen. Seeing that almost everyone had gathered, Nara Shikaku said to the clan leaders with a serious look, it's almost time to start. Hinata Hiashi walked forward with a serious expression, slowly took off the forehead protector on his forehead, and held it high to the crowd. The scene was suddenly silent, and everyone was confused, wondering what the clan leader of the Hyuga clan was going to do. I, Hyuga Hiyashi, report in my real name that the third Hokage of Konoha village in the Land of Fire used his position to abuse his power for personal gain and often asked me for high filial piety fees. Just yesterday, the third Hokage asked me for 50 million taels, but because I had no money, he directly took away several stores of my Hyuga clan in the commercial street. Hyuga Hiyashi said loudly. Is this true? I didn't expect the third Hokage to be this kind of person. The sky of Konoha has really darkened. Just then, the heads of other families also stood up. I'm Nara Shikaku. I'm Akamichi Choza. I'm Yamanaka Inoichi. Oh my god, I didn't expect that Hokage-sama is such a person. Who said he wasn't? You can't tell a person's heart from his appearance. With such a leader appearing in Konoha village, does the village still have a future? At this moment, Uchiha Fugaku stepped forward. Seeing this, everyone looked at Uchiha Fugaku curiously, wanting to hear about Uchiha's experience. Because my Uchiha clan did not pay protection fees to the third Hokage, it was often targeted by the third Hokage, and he kept inciting conflicts between the Uchiha clan and the major clans, which led to the reputation of my Uchiha clan being ruined and being excluded in the village. Everyone present, do you subconsciously feel disgusted when you hear the name of Uchiha? Uchiha Fugaku's words made everyone fall into deep thought. They began to recall their past experiences with the Uchiha clan and found that they did seem to have some unconscious prejudices. It seems to be true. Yes, think carefully about the Uchiha as the Konoha police force. They have always enforced the law impartially, without favoritism or corruption. Yes, then why did we have prejudice against the Uchiha before? Could it be that, as the Uchiha clan leader said, all this was done by the third Hokage? Of course it is. After all, he has done so many things, and he doesn't care about this one. The villagers were discussing fiercely, and at this time a group of civilian ninjas also began to discuss. The Uchiha's experience may really be done by the third Hokage. Yes, the Uchiha is actually not as bad as the outside world says. Although the Uchiha clan is arrogant, they are generally very strong. We are still very happy to have Uchiha people as teammates when performing tasks. His words resonated with other ninjas around him, and everyone nodded in agreement. Yes, carrying out missions with members of the Uchiha clan can greatly increase our mission success rate. Moreover, members of the Uchiha clan perform very well in battle, and their eye techniques and ninjutsu are very powerful. Although they may not like to talk much, as long as they can complete the mission, these are minor problems. Yes, it may be that the Uchiha clan is too powerful, which led to the targeting of the third Hokage. The ninjas really felt that the Uchiha clan's experience was inseparable from Sarutobi Hiruzen. At this time, Uchiha Fugaku felt the change in the atmosphere on the scene, and a glimmer of hope surged in his heart. Perhaps this meeting could become an opportunity to change the fate of the Uchiha clan. I think the third Hokage's various behaviors are no longer suitable for being Hokage. Nara Shikaku said. So I plan to unite with you to get the third Hokage to step down and re-elect a capable person to be the Hokage. Nara Shikaku's voice was not loud, but it was clearly heard throughout the venue, and his words caused an uproar. People began to whisper and talk about it. I, the Uchiha clan, agree. I, the Hyuga clan, agree. I, the Aburame clan, agree. After several clans came forward, the clan leaders of other clans came forward one after another, expressing their willingness to cooperate with Nara Shikaku to jointly push the third Hokage to step down. For a time, representatives of the major clans in Konoha village responded one after another, and their voices gathered into a powerful force, as if to overturn the entire venue. The villagers present were stunned by this sudden change, and no one spoke for a while. They stared at everything that happened in front of them with wide eyes in disbelief. After a long while, someone spoke up. If the third Hokage did do those things, then I agree. Although his voice was not loud, it was like throwing a stone on the calm water, triggering a chain reaction. That's right, if it's true, then we agree too. Someone in the crowd echoed. That's right, we can't tolerate this going on. Another person shouted. Gradually, more and more people joined the team of denunciation, and their voices gathered together to form a deafening shout. Support the third Hokage to step down. Support Nara Shikaku's proposal. We need a new leader. I think Sarutobi Hiruzen is not worthy of being a Hokage. Me too. Seeing this, the heads of the major families all smiled. The third Hokage is definitely finished now. In the corner, several members of the Sarutobi clan changed their faces after seeing this scene. The major families are actually rebelling, go tell the clan leader. As they said, they rolled and crawled towards the Sarutobi clan's land. The route. Shimura Danzo saw many people gathered outside the Hokage building. He couldn't help but frown and asked curiously, what is Hiruzen doing? Why are there so many people outside the Hokage building? A root member came out from the shadows. He saluted respectfully to Shimura Danzo, and asked if he needed to go to check the situation. Shimura Danzo nodded and said seriously, go and come back quickly, don't waste time. After receiving the order, the root member immediately turned around and ran towards the Hokage building. Shimura Danzo stared at the direction of the Hokage building, muttering to himself, Hiruzen, what the hell are you doing? After a while, the root member finally came back in a hurry. Shimura Danzo asked impatiently, how is it? Have you investigated it clearly? What happened at the Hokage building? Why are there so many villagers gathered here? The root member was panting, his face full of shock. He quickly replied, Danzo-sama, the patriarchs of the major families of Konoha exposed the various crimes committed by the third Hokage during his reign in front of thousands of villagers outside the Hokage building. They accused the third Hokage of corruption and bribery, and used his power to suppress the major families, putting Konoha in trouble. Now, these families have united and demanded that the third Hokage abdicate to calm the public anger. Hearing this, Shimura Danzo widened his eyes in disbelief. What? Are you saying that the major families are now preparing to force Hiruzen to abdicate? To answer Danzo-sama, that's it. Then the root said. Hearing this, Shimura Danzo's face was full of joy. He suddenly laughed up to the sky, ha ha ha, Hiruzen, you have come to this day. Shimura Danzo was very happy. As long as Sarutobi Hiruzen abdicated, he, as one of the top leaders of Konoha, had a great chance of becoming the Hokage. No, I have to go and see how Hiruzen fell, Shimura Danzo said, and hurriedly left the route and rushed towards the Hokage building. The position of Hokage, here I come. Ha ha ha. Chapter 51. Sarutobi clan territory. It's bad, it's bad. The two Sarutobi clan members were panicked, staggering towards the clan territory, shouting non-stop. They looked extremely panicked, as if they had seen something extremely terrible. Hearing the noise, many curious people in the clan came out of their homes to find out what was going on. The two clan members were stumbling and running, and the panic on their faces became more and more obvious. Assholes, what are you yelling about so early in the morning? The elder frowned, walked out of the house with an unhappy face, and shouted loudly. He secretly wondered what happened to these two guys that made them so panicked and completely lost their usual calmness. After seeing the elder, the two hurriedly walked to his side, panting, breathing so fast that they couldn't even speak smoothly. It's bad, great elder, it's bad. Their voices trembled with deep fear. The great elder frowned and shouted more impatiently, what happened? Tell me quickly, don't waste time here. Seeing the panic of the two people, the great elder couldn't help but feel worried. Did something serious happen in the clan? Great elder, the clan leaders of the major families in Konoha have united to make the clan leader abdicate. What? After learning this shocking news, the great elder subconsciously stepped back several steps. If there was no one behind him to support him in time, he would probably fall to the ground. How is this possible? Why did this happen? The great elder murmured in a low voice, his face full of disbelief. Boss, what happened? The second elder asked curiously when he saw the scene in the clan. Behind him stood the third and fourth elders, and they all looked at the great elder with confusion. The elder raised his head, his eyes bloodshot, and said in a low voice, I'm afraid Hiruzen's position as Hokage is not safe. Hearing this, several elders widened their eyes in disbelief, their faces full of astonishment. Why is this happening? Hasn't Hiruzen already collected enough money? The elder sighed deeply, it is because of this money that the major families are dissatisfied. They have now united and want to force Hiruzen to abdicate. After hearing this, several elders were desperate and collapsed on the ground. What should I do? Just then, Sarutobi Hiruzen yawned and walked out of the courtyard slowly. What happened? He was busy until late at night to make money yesterday, and he was already exhausted physically and mentally. He finally got a good night's sleep, but was woken up early in the morning, which made him very unhappy. Seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen slowly coming out, the elder was so angry that his face turned red. He pointed at Sarutobi Hiruzen with a trembling finger and said angrily, "Asshole! If it weren't for your little thing, how could things have developed to this point?" Sarutobi Hiruzen looked confused and had no idea what had happened. He was full of doubts. What had he done? Wasn't the money issue already resolved? Why did the elder scold him so angrily? "Elder, what happened?" Sarutobi Hiruzen asked curiously. "How dare you ask? The major families are now discussing your abdication in the Hokage building." The fourth elder snorted coldly, his tone full of dissatisfaction. Hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen was stunned and unbelievable. What the hell? Wasn't he doing well? Why did he abdicate? How come the sky fell when he woke up? Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't dare to delay and hurried towards the direction of the Hokage building. Could it be that what happened yesterday caused their dissatisfaction? Sarutobi Hiruzen muttered to himself. Thinking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen widened his eyes, his heart full of shock. No way. Outside the Hokage building, at this time, more and more people gathered like a tide. After hearing what Sarutobi Hiruzen did, they were all furious and angry. Shimura Danzo quietly mixed in the crowd, looking at the indignant look of the people around him. His face was full of comfort, and he was secretly proud in his heart. Haha, Hiruzen's Hokage has come to an end. Shimura Danzo couldn't help but say proudly. At this moment, he had already begun to imagine in his mind the glorious scene of becoming Hokage after Sarutobi Hiruzen abdicated. Just then, a burst of exclamation suddenly broke out in the crowd. "Look, the third-generation Hokage is here." Everyone turned their heads and saw the third-generation Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen hurried over. When Sarutobi Hiruzen saw so many people, his heart suddenly sank. He clearly realized that he might really be finished. He trembled. He walked up to the stage with a complex look at the heads of the major families and the audience below, opening and closing his mouth, as if he wanted to say something but didn't know where to start. For a moment, the scene was very quiet, and everyone was waiting for the explanation of the third Hokage. Seeing that no one spoke, Shimura Danzo's smile froze. It seemed that these villagers wanted to hear Sarutobi Hiruzen's explanation, but this was not okay. What if Hiruzen really whitewashed himself? He knew clearly how terrible his old friend's speaking ability was. He could turn black into white and fool these villagers. Shimura Danzo must not give the other party a chance to explain, so he shouted in a shrill voice, "Get out! Get out!" Hearing his words, the villagers followed and shouted, "Get out! Get out!" Shimura Danzo saw the villagers' reactions, and his mouth was almost grinning to his ears. This was the effect he wanted. Without giving Sarutobi Hiruzen a chance to explain, he would have no choice but to get out of the position of Hokage. After seeing the angry crowd in the audience, Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed silently. It seemed that he didn't even have a chance to explain. He knew in his heart that this matter was a foregone conclusion and could not be changed. Sarutobi Hiruzen really didn't expect these clan leaders to use this trick. Perhaps he pushed them too hard, which led them to act like this. Indeed, after all, Sarutobi Hiruzen asked for 500 million from the major families in one day, which did seem a bit greedy. But there was no way. Sarutobi Hiruzen also had his own difficulties. If he didn't collect the money and give it to Black Zetsu, he would not only lose the position of Hokage, but also lose his reputation in his later years. Although he has lost the position of Hokage, he only has a reputation of corruption and bribery, not peeping at the female bathhouse. If it is the latter, he would rather die. I did something wrong. I am willing to step down as Hokage. Sarutobi Hiruzen slowly took off the Hokage hat and bowed deeply to the villagers below. Unexpectedly, he, Sarutobi Hiruzen, became the first Hokage to be driven out. It's so miserable. Shimura Danzo was ecstatic and secretly said in his heart, Hiruzen is finally gone. I'm the Hokage. Outside the Hokage building. After saying this, Sarutobi Hiruzen seemed to have aged 10 years in an instant, and his straight back was slightly hunched. He silently handed the bamboo hat in his hand, which symbolized the power and responsibility of the Hokage, to Nara Shikaku beside him, with deep reluctance in his eyes. Then, he looked back at the Hokage building behind him with nostalgia. This majestic building witnessed his hard work for so many years and carried his youth for half of his life. Sarutobi Hiruzen slowly walked down the platform, and every step seemed so heavy. He silently looked at the steps under his feet, recalling the scene when he had preached the will of fire here. At that time, he was full of passion and high spirits, and the people in the audience were full of respect and admiration for him. However, now, he felt the undisguised disgust of the crowd, and those eyes were like sharp blades, piercing his heart. Everyone watched his every move quietly, no one made a sound, and the whole scene was unusually quiet. They watched the former Hokage leave in silence, and everyone's heart was filled with complex emotions. Sarutobi Hiruzen walked slowly in the crowd, his figure looked lonely and desolate. Recalling his glorious achievements in the past, Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but laugh at himself. The high-spirited and confident Hokage of the past no longer exists, replaced by an old man who has been corrupted by the desire for power and has become selfish. He couldn't help but sigh. In my life, I still haven't been able to keep the will of fire. As early as a few years ago, Sarutobi Hiruzen had been the Hokage for more than 30 years and felt exhausted. At that time, he felt that he had done enough for Konoha and it was time to take a break. So he resolutely resigned from the position of Hokage and handed over this important task to the young and promising Minato Namikaze through the election of the villagers. However, when he really stepped down from the position of Hokage, a strange feeling came to his heart. He began to miss the busy and fulfilling days before, and felt empty inside, as if he had lost something important. What's worse is that since he retired, no one has come to give him gifts. The once bustling doorstep has become deserted, and this sense of difference makes him regretful. Sarutobi Hiruzen began to regret that he had given up the position of Hokage in a fit of rage, but there is no regret medicine in the world, and it's all too late. He began to realize that power is indeed an attractive opportunity that can bring glory and respect. Now, he can only accept reality silently and live an ordinary life. But a few years later, the Nine Tails Rebellion suddenly broke out in Konoha village. In order to protect the village, the fourth-generation Hokage Minato Namikaze had to seal the Nine Tails with his own life. This incident plunged the village into chaos, and there was no leader, and someone was urgently needed to stand up and lead everyone. Sarutobi Hiruzen keenly observed this and realized that his chance to return to the position of Hokage had come. So, he used his qualifications and prestige to ascend the throne of Hokage again. This made his good friend Shimura Danzo so angry that he jumped up and down. Why could Sarutobi Hiruzen be Hokage twice? Because of jealousy in his heart, Shimura Danzo did not give Sarutobi Hiruzen a lot of trouble, but Sarutobi Hiruzen turned a blind eye. The feeling of becoming Hokage again and mastering power made Sarutobi Hiruzen very excited. The major families that had alienated him now came to curry favor with him again. This made him realize that he could not lose the position of Hokage no matter what. Although he was over 60 years old, he had never thought of abdicating and letting others take over. He planned to sit in this position until the last moment of his life. But what happened today brought him back to reality after being lost in the vortex of power. He did do a lot of stupid things because of the expansion of power over the years. But it was too late. At this time, he had lost the support of the people and there was no way to save it. Sarutobi Hiruzen knew that from this moment on, he would lose the position of Hokage forever and become a part of history. But he did not regret it, because he understood that the struggle for power would only hurt more people, and only true peace could bring happiness. With this realization, Sarutobi Hiruzen silently left the Hokage building, leaving behind a lonely back. After Sarutobi Hiruzen completely left, the patriarchs of the major families looked at each other. Nara Shikaku, what should we do now? Since the third Hokage has stepped down, who will be the fifth Hokage? Hearing this, Nara Shikaku also fell into deep thought, and he didn't know who to recommend for the position of Hokage for a while. Uchiha Fugaku was a little excited. He felt that Uchiha's opportunity had come. As long as he could become Hokage, then the Uchiha clan would really rise. He was about to recommend himself, but at this moment, an inappropriate voice suddenly sounded, making Uchiha Fugaku's face darken. The candidate for the 5th generation Hokage must have qualifications and inheritance, and it is best to have an extraordinary relationship with the previous generations of Hokage. And only those who have a certain prestige in the village are qualified to be Hokage, not just any cat or dog can be Hokage. Shimura Danzo walked slowly to the podium with a cane, and his voice was full of majesty and unquestionable tone. Uchiha Fugaku heard this, and a surge of anger suddenly surged in his heart. He stared at Shimura Danzo, wishing he could rush up and tear the old dog into pieces immediately. However, he could only suppress his anger, because now was not the time to take action. Uchiha Fugaku knew that according to Shimura Danzo, only those with a specific background and qualifications could become Hokage, which meant that the Uchiha clan had almost no chance to compete. They had always been an important force in Konoha village, but they were excluded from the core of power. Uchiha Fugaku knew that the conditions proposed by Shimura Danzo would be supported by most people. After all, people tend to prefer tradition and qualifications when selecting Hokage. In this way, the Uchiha clan had no chance to become Hokage. Uchiha Fugaku felt extremely frustrated and disappointed. He originally thought that he could win some voice for the Uchiha clan with his own strength and the influence of his family. But now, they have to face reality and accept the fate of being marginalized. It's just a pity for him, Uchiha, as one of the 2 major families that founded Konoha, there is no position for Hokage in the clan, not to mention a position for a high-level Konoha. As Uchiha Fugaku thought, everyone agreed with Shimura Danzo's words. This is a good suggestion. I support this suggestion. Nara Shikaku's eyes lit up. He has qualifications, heritage, is related to the previous Hokage, and has a certain reputation in the village. I know who this person is. Hearing this, Shimura Danzo's mouth curled up, and he looked at Nara Shikaku with appreciation, as expected of a member of the Nara clan. He is so smart. The conditions proposed by Shimura Danzo were tailor-made for him, and he met almost every requirement perfectly. He was asking questions based on the answers. Here I come, the Hokage. Shimura Danzo shouted madly in his heart. He has been waiting for this day for half his life. Since he became a ninja, his dream is to become a Hokage, so he has been working hard for this dream. Although he has experienced many setbacks in the process, he has never thought of giving up. Finally, today, he will ascend to the position of Hokage he has always dreamed of. After all, he meets all the conditions he said. Qualifications. As one of the senior officials of Konoha village, his qualifications are undoubtedly sufficient. For many years, he has been involved in the decision-making and management of Konoha village and knows the situation of the village well. Such experience gives him an incomparable advantage in qualifications. Inheritance. He is one of the proud disciples of the 2nd generation Hokage Senju Tobirama, which means that he has inherited powerful ninjutsu and wisdom. This kind of inheritance is crucial to becoming an excellent Hokage. He has a relationship with the successive generations of Hokage. He is not only the disciple of the 2nd Hokage, but also the close comrade and friend of the 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, and they jointly protect the peace of the village. He has a certain reputation in the village. He is not only the Hokage consultant, but also the good brother of the 3rd Hokage and the disciple of the 2nd Hokage. His experience, ability and loyalty can definitely win the respect and trust of the villagers. With these conditions, Shimura Danzo feels that in Konoha village, except for Midomen-en and Udatane Kaharu, no one else is qualified to compete with him for the position of Hokage. And now, the 2 old guys are thinking about lying down and enjoying their retirement life, and they will never compete with him for this position. Therefore, he confidently believes that only he is the most suitable candidate. After all, in terms of strength, experience and wisdom, who can compare with him? It can be said that he is bound to win the position of Hokage. Shimura Danzo looked at Nara Shikaku expectantly, wanting to hear him say his name in person. I know, this person is Senju Tsunade, Nara Shikaku said with a smile. Yes, yes, yes. Haha, you were right, it is Senju. After Shimura Danzo reacted, the smile on his face froze, and he looked at Nara Shikaku in disbelief. After a while, he finally reacted and roared, "What? You said it was Senju Tsunade." His face turned red because of anger, and his body couldn't stop shaking. This result was completely beyond his expectations, and he couldn't accept such a fact. Nara Shikaku looked at Shimura Danzo with a smile and said slowly, "Yes, Danzo consultant, it is the princess of the Senju clan, Senju Tsunade." Shimura Danzo was furious and roared, "I don't believe you would recommend a woman to be the Hokage. And it's the gambling-addicted, unambitious Tsunade." Nara Shikaku didn't agree. He patiently explained to Shimura Danzo, "Don't get excited, Danzo consultant. Let's analyze the conditions you proposed. Tsunade actually meets them very well. First of all, seniority. Tsunade is one of the 3 ninjas of Konoha. She was once famous with Jiraiya and Orochimaru. Is this seniority enough? Secondly, inheritance. Tsunade is the disciple of the 3rd Hokage. Although the 3rd Hokage has made a mistake and stepped down, we cannot forget his achievements. As his disciple, Tsunade is still qualified to inherit the position of Hokage. Let's talk about the relationship with the previous generations of Hokage. The first Hokage is Tsunade's grandfather, the second Hokage is her second grandfather, the third Hokage is her teacher, and the fourth Hokage's teacher is her good friend. Finally, Tsunade has a very high reputation in the village. Not only is she powerful, but she is also a famous medical ninja in the ninja world. Her medical ninjutsu saved countless Konoha ninjas in the war. Isn't such a person the most suitable candidate to become Hokage? Quote. Hearing this, Shimura Danzo's expression froze instantly and he was petrified on the spot. So, Tsunade seems to really meet the conditions he offered more than him, which makes him regretful and even wants to slap himself a few times. How cheap is he? That's why he proposed such a condition. At this moment, Shimura Danzo felt extremely regretful, because he realized that his behavior just now was simply stupid. He originally thought that proposing these conditions could show his ability and advantages, and then naturally ascend to the position of Hokage that he had always dreamed of. But he didn't expect that Nara Shikaku would find someone more suitable than him based on the conditions he proposed. This is great, isn't he just shooting himself in the foot? He is about to cry because of his stupidity. Seeing Shimura Danzo's annoyance, Uchiha Fugaku couldn't help laughing out loud. He looked at Shimura Danzo happily, and laughed in his heart. He still didn't understand that the conditions proposed by Shimura Danzo were clearly set according to his own wishes. This old guy obviously had the ambition to become Hokage for a long time, but he just never showed it. However, Nara Shikaku suddenly mentioned a person who was more qualified, Tsunade, which put Shimura Danzo in a dilemma. Uchiha Fugaku was really happy. Although he couldn't become Hokage, it was even more impossible for Shimura Danzo to become Hokage. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but curl up his lips. Seeing that this old guy couldn't realize this dream either, the sense of loss in his heart was immediately relieved a lot. After all, although it is hard to accept one's own failure, the success of others is even more distressing. Fortunately, that old dog Shimura Danzo also failed, otherwise he would not be able to sleep all night. The Nara clan leader is right, Tsunade-sama is indeed qualified to be the 5th generation Hokage. That's right, the 5th generation Hokage must be Tsunade-sama. Danzo-sama is worthy of being a high-level official in Konoha. This proposal is good. Isn't it? Although I don't know what he does, judging from this idea, he is definitely not an ordinary leader. At this time, the people in the audience talked a lot, expressing their appreciation and support for Danzo's proposal. However, they didn't know that Shimura Danzo was suffering a huge blow at this time. When Shimura Danzo heard the words of the people below, he felt a blockage in his heart, a surge of anger in his heart, and, puff, spurted out a mouthful of blood, and then his eyes turned black and fell on the podium. The clan leaders of the major families on the stage were confused, and they had no idea what was going on. How could Shimura Danzo suddenly faint? The clan leaders subconsciously looked at Uchiha Fugaku who was standing aside. After all, he was the only one present who had this strange ability, and everyone suspected that he did it. Uchiha Fugaku saw everyone looking at him, and suddenly looked confused. He waved his hand and said, "Why are you looking at me? I didn't do anything." The clan leaders looked at the 3 Magatama Sharingan in Uchiha Fugaku's eyes with disbelief. They believed that with the power of the Uchiha family's bloodline limit Sharingan, it would not be difficult to do this. Uchiha Fugaku then remembered that he had subconsciously opened the Sharingan because he was too angry just now, but this thing really wasn't done by him. He really fainted suddenly by himself. I didn't do anything, Uchiha Fugaku explained anxiously. However, the clan leaders all showed an expression of, "We all understand," and nodded to show their understanding. I understand, he just fainted suddenly, it was definitely not done by the chief of the Fugaku clan. Seeing this, Uchiha Fugaku's mouth twitched, this time it was really hard to explain. What happened to Advisor Danzo? Is he dead? Where is the medical ninja? Where is the medical ninja? When everyone saw Danzo suddenly fall, they all shouted in panic. The scene was in chaos, and people began to look for medical ninjas to treat Danzo. Danzo fell to the ground, with a trace of blood hanging from the corner of his mouth, unconscious. The land of hot springs. Outside a female bathhouse, there was a middle-aged man with white hair and stubble on his face. He was leaning against the window with a wretched look on his face, looking inside thiefily. There was a big oil on his forehead. This man was the yellow, gambling and drugs, of Konoha village, Jiraiya. He, today's girl is really hot. Looking at this scene, Jiraiya's eyes lit up and his saliva almost flowed out. While staring at the inside, he sighed, sure enough, it's only in places like this that I can find inspiration for a new book. However, just when Jiraiya was reading with great interest, a strong voice suddenly sounded from behind him. You fool, you're peeping into the female bathhouse again. Hearing this voice, Jiraiya's heart skipped a beat and he quickly turned around to look. I saw a burly auntie rushing towards me angrily with a broom next to her. Jiraiya's eyes widened in horror. Just as he was about to explain, the broom was already within reach. With a muffled bang, the broom hit him directly on the head, and a cloud of dust was immediately raised. Ouch! It hurts so much. Jiraiya quickly covered his head and screamed with gritted teeth. However, before he finished speaking, the ant raised the broom again and hit him hard. Seeing this, Jiraiya dared not stay any longer and ran away in a hurry. Don't run! The ant roared and chased after him. Jiraiya was panicking and ran while shouting, help! Someone is killing people. For a while, the whole street was in chaos, so lively. You old fool, I'll beat you to death. The ant roared, and the veins on her arm holding the broom bulged. It was hard to imagine that the owner of this muscle was just a cleaning lady in the bathhouse. Auntie, I was wrong. I won't do it again. Jiraiya begged for mercy, covering his head. You said the same thing last time. The angry auntie swung the broom and hit Jiraiya on the back. Jiraiya felt the pain and quickly quickened his pace. After a long time, Jiraiya finally got rid of the auntie behind him. He shook his head helplessly and sighed, I am one of the 3 ninjas of Konoha after all, but I was chased and beaten by an old lady all over the street. It's really getting worse and worse. Gurgle. Suddenly, his stomach rumbled. Oh, I'm so hungry. It seems I have to find a place to eat first. Jiraiya touched his rumbling stomach and looked around for a restaurant. He came to a tavern, which was bustling with people coming and going. Jiraiya walked in and sat down, ordering a bowl of ramen and a glass of wine. While waiting for the noodles, Jiraiya looked at the people around him and couldn't help sighing in his heart. This is the life of ordinary people. Although ordinary, it is full of warmth and happiness. Soon, the ramen was served, and Jiraiya ate it with big mouthfuls, with a satisfied expression on his face. Just then, the discussion of several people around him made him pause in eating noodles, and he subconsciously looked in the direction of those people. On a table not far away, several men were drinking and chatting. One of them smiled and said, have you heard? The 3rd generation of Hokage of Konoha village was forced to step down by the villagers. Another man asked curiously, is it true? What happened to the 3rd generation of Hokage? Why did he suddenly step down? The man who spoke at the beginning shook his head, I just heard it from a businessman. He just came back from the land of fire yesterday. I don't know the details. It seems that the 3rd generation of Hokage collapsed. Hearing this, Jiraiya's mouth twitched, and he murmured, can't the old man be found peeping in the women's bathhouse like me? Thinking about it, Jiraiya's face showed a smirk. Hee, it must be like this, otherwise how could the old man be driven out of office by the villagers with his prestige? Speaking of this, Jiraiya nodded thoughtfully and said to himself, well, it should be like this, but then again, doesn't the old man have that magical crystal ball? Why doesn't he observe directly through the crystal ball, but instead goes to the scene in person? Is it because it would be more exciting to watch it on the spot? Thinking of this, Jiraiya suddenly realized that this is the case. How could the picture in the crystal ball be comparable to the immersive excitement of being there in person? When mentioning the crystal ball, Jiraiya couldn't help but think of more than a decade ago. As early as decades ago, Jiraiya coveted the crystal ball in Sarutobi Hiruzen's hand and longed to have it, but every time he asked the teacher for this, he would be rejected. Sarutobi Hiruzen always said that the crystal ball was an important tool for him to maintain the peace and stability of Konoha village, not a toy for people like them to satisfy their personal desires. At that time, Jiraiya still believed thought it was true until one day he suddenly entered the Hokage's office, only to find that the third Hokage was staring at the crystal ball intently, completely immersed in it, and didn't even notice Jiraiya's arrival. When Jiraiya saw the picture in the crystal ball clearly, his whole worldview collapsed. He didn't expect that his teacher would be such a person. He didn't expect that the teacher who was highly respected in their hearts would secretly use the crystal ball to peek into the female bathhouse, doing what Jiraiya always wanted to do but couldn't do. So, Jiraiya stood beside the teacher without hesitation and watched the wonderful pictures in the crystal ball together. The two drooled while enjoying this intoxicating scene. When Sarutobi Hiruzen finally realized Jiraiya's existence, it was too late. In order for Jiraiya to keep the secret, Sarutobi Hiruzen had to lend the crystal ball to Jiraiya. In this way, Jiraiya happily took the crystal ball home. During that time, Jiraiya stayed at home all day and was completely immersed in the temptation of the crystal ball. During this time, he had an inspiration to write a book, so he started to write a happy book for Otakus, Intimate Paradise. This, Intimate Paradise, is full of elements that Otakus like, with rich and colorful content and fascinating. Unexpectedly, the book caused a huge sensation as soon as it was launched, and sales continued to rise, becoming a bestseller. Jiraiya also became famous because of this. In addition to his identity as a ninja, he also gained a highly regarded identity as a novelist. Thinking back to the present, Jiraiya smiled helplessly, and he sighed, "Teacher, how old is a man not lustful?" Jiraiya has already determined in his heart that the old man must have been accidentally discovered by the villagers when he used the crystal ball to peek into the women's bathhouse before, and then caused a very bad influence in the village, and finally had to abdicate. After all, not many people in the village knew that the old man liked to peek into the women's bathhouse, and now it may be that everyone knows about it, which led to his late reputation being lost and he was forced to abdicate. It seems like it's time to go back to the village, Jiraiya muttered. Outside the gate of Konoha village, Jiraiya looked at the unchanging gate of Konoha village, his mouth twitched, and he couldn't help complaining, "I didn't expect that after so many years, there is still no change in the village. I don't know what the old man did with the money." At this time, there were two gatekeepers standing at the door. They were the gate gods of Konoha, Kamizuki Izumo and Gangzi Tai. If Yunxiao was here, he would definitely recognize these two people. In the plot of Naruto, they have always been guarding the door. Even when facing a powerful figure like Pain, the other party did not dare to enter through the main gate easily. Even later, Konoha was destroyed, but the gate still stood. Konoha is gone, but the gate is still there. I won't say much about their strength. When the two saw Jiraiya at the door, they were stunned for a moment. After a while, Izumo Komatsuki asked in disbelief, "Jiraiya-sama, is that you?" Jiraiya smiled and patted Izumo Komatsuki's shoulder, joking, "Haha, I didn't expect that after so many years, you two are still guarding the gate." After that, he left in style. Izumo Komatsuki and Gangzi were left with a dark face looking at his departing back. I should have pretended not to know him. That's right, who would have thought that his mouth was so stinky? An extrovert once, in exchange for a lifetime of introversion, Izumo Komatsuki swore in his heart that he would never mess around in this life, he wanted to be a cold doorman. Jiraiya walked on the street, looking at the surrounding buildings with nostalgia, which reminded him of his childhood memories with Tsunade and Orochimaru. It's a pity that Orochimaru has betrayed the village and fled Konoha, and Tsunade has left the village and disappeared. I have been away from home for many years and seldom returned to the village. The name of the Konoha three ninjas that once resounded throughout the ninja world has long been dead in name only and has become history. Walking and walking, Jiraiya unknowingly came to the clan land of the Sarutobi clan. He did not choose to go through the main gate, but quietly climbed over the wall, sneaked into the interior of the Sarutobi clan, and went to Sarutobi Hiruzen's residence with ease. When Jiraiya stepped into the Sarutobi clan's land, the scene in front of him shocked him. The decoration here is extremely luxurious, magnificent and beautiful. Jiraiya widened his eyes and muttered to himself, "Such a gorgeous decoration, how much does it cost? I don't know where the Sarutobi clan got the money from." While speaking, Jiraiya quickened his pace and walked quickly towards Sarutobi Hiruzen's house. Not long after, he arrived at his destination. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen was sitting leisurely at the door basking in the sun. Suddenly, there was a slight sound of footsteps. He subconsciously raised his head and looked in the direction of the sound. When he saw the person coming, a flash of surprise flashed in his eyes, but soon he smiled and said kindly, "Jiraiya, when did you come back?" Jiraiya looked at the man in front of him who was once full of vigor and vitality but now looked a little tired and old, and he couldn't help but feel an indescribable pain in his heart. He still remembered that everything was fine when he came back last time, but how could it become like this now? However, he did not show his inner feelings, but joked with a playful face, "Hey, old man, I heard that you were caught peeping into the women's bathhouse and then kicked out." After hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen's face was immediately full of black lines, and he cursed helplessly, "Stinky boy, where did you hear these rumors from?" Jiraiya shrugged indifferently, still with a cynical smile on his face, and asked curiously, "It doesn't seem to be the case, then how did you get kicked out, old man?" Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed softly, turned and walked into the yard, and said calmly, "Come in and tell me." Seeing this, Jiraiya hurriedly followed and closed the door. He asked curiously, "Can you tell me now?" Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed and told Jiraiya what happened yesterday. After hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's explanation, Jiraiya's eyes widened in disbelief. "I was wondering why the Sarutobi clan decorated so gorgeously. It turned out that you, the old man, embezzled." "Oh no, this is clearly robbery. No wonder the major families want to get you, don't you deserve it?" Sarutobi Hiruzen heard his apprentice's scolding, silently picked up the pipe, put it in his mouth, took a puff, and blew out a puff of smoke. After a long time, he explained, "In fact, there is a hidden story in this matter." So, Sarutobi Hiruzen told Jiraiya about the threat he had been threatened by Black Zetsu. After listening to Sarutobi Hiruzen's story, Jiraiya asked in disbelief, "That dark guy said that the photo stone in his hand can record what happened within 3 days. Jiraiya was very excited. This photo stone is a good thing. If he has this thing if he knew the information, he could put the photo stone in the bathhouses all over the ninja world, so he would never have to worry about being discovered by others. "Old man, are you still in touch with that guy? This photo stone is a good thing," Jiraiya said excitedly. Hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Jiraiya speechlessly. Wasn't he talking about being threatened by someone and having to ask for a large sum of money from the major families? Why did he bring up the photo stone? Sarutobi Hiruzen said unhappily, "Get lost." Seeing the teacher's reaction, Jiraiya smiled indifferently. "If you ask me, old man, you are too concerned about your face and that's why you end up like this. You really want to save face but suffer in life. Well, since you are fine, I will leave to find Tsunade to inherit the position of Hokage. Alas, Orochimaru has not been found yet, and now I have to find Tsunade again. These two guys are really worrying." As he said, Jiraiya turned around and waved his hand, and then left the Sarutobi clan. Sarutobi Hiruzen watched Jiraiya leave with a complicated expression. After a long time, he murmured, "Perhaps Jiraiya is more suitable to be the Hokage than Tsunade." After learning that the village was looking for Tsunade to return to the village to inherit the position of Hokage, Jiraiya actively participated in it and left the Fire Country to find Tsunade's trace. Unfortunately, Jiraiya left the Fire Country to the east, and two figures were slowly rushing towards the Fire Country from the west. The border of the Fire Country. "Tsunade-sama, please don't gamble anymore, Tun and I are almost starving to death. Shizune begged. Tsunade waved her hands impatiently and said nonchalantly, it's just my bad luck today. When I return to the village, I will mortgage the Senju clan land, and then I will definitely win back all the money I lost. Hearing Tsunade's words, Shizune panicked and quickly dissuaded, what? Tsunade-sama, you are actually planning to mortgage the Senju clan land? This is absolutely not possible. The clan land is so big that I can't live in it all by myself. It's better to sell it and get some money to use. Tsunade-sama, please don't be stupid. However, at this moment, Tsunade in front suddenly stopped, and Shizune bumped into it because she didn't have time to react. Shizune looked confused and asked, touching her head, Tsunade-sama, why did you stop suddenly? Tsunade did not answer, but stood there silently, staring at a store not far away. In the dark, she seemed to feel that this store was very important to her. In Yunxiao's shop, a video was playing on the laptop. Oi! The kid is a little hot. This sentence spread through Yunxiao's body like an electric current, making him shiver involuntarily, and goosebumps quickly crawled all over his arms. He slid the mouse pointer in a hurry, eager to skip this embarrassing video, and muttered, this is too middle school, just give me the candy. With the click of the mouse, the next video appeared in front of him. This time, what came into view was a tempting video. He, this is good. I really like this. As he said, Yunxiao couldn't wait to reach out to grope for the place where the napkins were placed, ready to reward himself well. However, after groping for a long time, he found nothing. He couldn't help but frown and muttered to himself, oh, that's not right. I remember putting the napkin here. Why is it gone? Not finding the napkin, Yunxiao stood up from the recliner anxiously and began to look around for the missing napkin. The room was filled with a tense atmosphere. Yunxiao widened his eyes and searched every corner carefully. Finally, he caught a glimpse of the familiar pack of napkins next to an inconspicuous counter. He quickly bent down to pick up the napkin on the ground, with a satisfied smile on his face, and returned to the recliner happily. After lying down, Yunxiao quickly took out a few pieces of toilet paper and wanted to relax. After all, he had been working for so many days in a row, couldn't he enjoy himself? But just when Yunxiao was about to enjoy himself, a crisp and pleasant doorbell sounded suddenly. Welcome. The sudden sound was like a thunder, which frightened Yunxiao and made him tremble all over, and his movements became flustered. He hurriedly closed the notebook, fearing that someone would see the secret inside. At the same time, he crumpled up the few pieces of toilet paper he had just pulled out and stuffed them into his trouser pockets, muttering, why come at this critical moment, not earlier or later? Although he was very unhappy, Yunxiao still forced himself to stand up from the recliner, tried to squeeze out a smile, and looked towards the door of the store. Welcome. However, when Yunxiao saw the person clearly, he was stunned. He rubbed his eyes in disbelief. Oh my god. Walking in front was a woman with golden hair. This woman was extremely beautiful, with a diamond-shaped mark on her forehead, especially the two huge radiums on her chest, which made people unable to look away. Before seeing the person, look at her chest first. Although she is over half a century old, she still looks young. Yunxiao immediately recognized that this was not the gambler in Konoha's yellow, gambling and drugs, Tsunade Senju. I met Orochimaru before, and now I met Tsunade. All I need is Jiraiya, and Yunxiao can gather all the gamblers and drug addicts in Konoha. Tsunade and Shizune behind her stepped into the store together, looking curiously at everything in the store. Since Tsunade stepped into the door, the strange feeling deep in her heart has become more and more turbulent. Tsunade-sama, look at how luxuriously decorated this store is. The things inside are definitely not cheap. Let's go quickly. Shizune pulled her clothes and advised softly. Then, Tsunade ignored Shizune's advice, rolled her eyes at her, and whispered, stop talking nonsense, I have my own rhythm. Seeing Tsunade's look, Shizune sighed helplessly. Sure enough, Lady Tsunade still didn't listen to her advice as usual. She gently stroked the pig in her arms. When I can't afford to eat, I can only eat you. Pig, who was originally squinting his eyes to enjoy, seemed to understand Shizune's words and widened his eyes in fear. At this time, Yunxiao didn't notice the whispers between the two. He walked up and smiled. Do you two need anything? We have everything. Hearing Yunshao's exaggerated words, Tsunade didn't show any doubt at all. On the contrary, she inexplicably felt a strange sense of trust in her heart, as if she believed that the young shopkeeper in front of her was true. This strange feeling made her feel surprised. After a moment of silence, Tsunade suddenly looked at Yunshao with a serious face and asked expectantly, "Boss, do you have anything that can improve your luck?" Hearing this, Yunshao was a little surprised. He asked curiously, "Excuse me, why do you want to improve your luck?" "Boss, I like gambling very much, but every time I lose money because of bad luck, I basically lose money every day. Now I owe millions of dollars." Tsunade clapped her hands angrily. "If my luck is better, I am absolutely confident that I can win back all the money I lost before." Listen. After hearing Tsunade's explanation, Yunshao remembered that in the original book, Tsunade was always losing in every bet, so she was called the fat sheep of the ninja world by the people in the gambling world. As long as Tsunade was in the gambling game, others only needed to bet against her to make a lot of money. The money they made naturally belonged to Tsunade. Who would have thought that as one of the 3 ninjas of Konoha, she actually owed a lot of debts outside. Sometimes when debt collectors came to her door, she could only run away in a panic. If Tsunade was not strong, she would have been caught by the creditors and used her body to repay. Tsunade lost for so many years, and finally won a bet with Jiraiya. As a result, Jiraiya died in the land of rain. Thinking about it, she was miserable enough. "Boss, do you have such a product?" Tsunade found that Yunshao was silent, and her heart tightened. Could it be that there was no product that could improve luck here? Hearing Tsunade's question, Yunshao came back to his senses. He smiled and said, "Of course I have luck-enhancing products here, but I'm afraid this kind of thing is not suitable for you." Hearing this, Tsunade's original expectant expression was gradually replaced by deep disappointment. She drooped her head and walked towards the door listlessly, muttering to herself, "Alas, I understand, boss, it seems that I am destined to be an unlucky person in this life." Seeing Tsunade's depressed look, Yunshao hurriedly explained, "I haven't finished speaking yet, don't leave in a hurry. Although luck-enhancing products are not suitable for you, isn't it easy to win every time you gamble?" "What, is it true?" Tsunade's eyes lit up when she heard this, as if she had rekindled the fire of hope. She turned around suddenly and looked at Yunshao with expectation. "Of course it's true. You know, gambling is not just as simple as relying on luck. What's more important is your own strength and skills." Yunshao answered confidently. "Gambling is not just about luck, but also about strength and skills." Tsunade muttered to herself. She seemed to have discovered a new world, and looked at Yunshao excitedly. "Boss, then I want products that can improve my strength and skills." "Okay, I'll find it for you right away." As he said that, Yunshao hurried to a counter and took out a book. There were a few big words written on the cover of the book, "King of Kings." This book introduces poker cheating, mahjong cheating, dice cheating, etc. in detail. As long as you learn the content in the book, you can win every time you gamble. Yunshao explained. Tsunade stared at the book in Yunshao's hand with fiery eyes, swallowed her saliva. "Boss, how much does this book cost?" "Not expensive, only 200,000 taels. Compared with other products in the store, this price is indeed not expensive. After all, this is just a basic teaching book. Whether you can learn it or not is another matter. The price is not expensive." Of course, Tsunade doesn't know this. "I want it," Tsunade said excitedly. "Shizune, pay up." She has already begun to imagine the scene of her killing all 4 sides at the gambling table after learning the skills in the book in the future. Hearing Tsunade's words, Shizune's expression suddenly changed. She hurriedly reached out to cover her wallet and asked in disbelief, "Tsunade-sama, do you really want to buy this book?" Tsunade nodded without hesitation. "Of course, it's just 200,000 taels. When I learn the skills in the book, I will definitely make a lot of money. At that time, I will definitely take you to eat delicious food and drink spicy drinks." After that, Tsunade slapped her chest a few times and made a solemn promise. What Shizune didn't know was that in the future, Tsunade not only fulfilled this promise, but also let her live a fairy-like life of counting money until her hands cramped. Looking at Tsunade's confident look, Shizune sighed helplessly. She felt that Tsunade was deceived by this boy. How could there be such a thing as winning every time she gambled in this world? Although she could not explain why Tsunade always lost every time she gambled, she still did not believe it. But Shizune knew that even if she tried her best to persuade her, Tsunade would never listen. In desperation, Shizune could only take out a scroll from her pocket. It was a coincidence that at this moment, the money left on the two of them was exactly 200,000 taels of silver. Tsunade quickly handed the scroll to Yunxiao. After Yunxiao took the scroll, he handed the book to Tsunade. After she took the book, she couldn't wait to open it. When she saw the contents of the book clearly, her breathing suddenly became rapid. She had a picture in her mind. She stood at the top of the ninja world, admired and worshipped by everyone, and became a well-deserved gambling god. This can't be blamed on Tsunade. It's just that the first sentence of the opening is too shocking. For Tsunade, who loves gambling and always loses, such temptation is simply irresistible. The first sentence of the book reads, "Back then, Chen Daozi learned the content of this book and 37 million won with 20 yuan. He, if I also learned it, wouldn't I also be able to win 37 million with 20 yuan?" Tsunade smiled foolishly. "Please call me Gambling Monster from now on, the monster of monsters." Shizune saw Tsunade's appearance, hurriedly stretched out her hands and shook her shoulders vigorously, and shouted anxiously, "Tsunade-sama, what's wrong with you? Don't scare me." Tsunade was shaken by Shizune like this, and came back to her senses as if she had just woken up from a dream. She realized that she had just lost her composure and couldn't help blushing. She hurriedly raised her hand and quickly wiped the saliva hanging from her mouth. In order to hide her embarrassment, she casually asked, "Boss, how long does it take to learn all these gambling techniques?" "It takes about 10 years to get started, and it may take longer to master it," Yunxiao answered after thinking for a moment. "What, 10 years?" Tsunade shouted loudly. "Why didn't you say it would take so long at the beginning?" Faced with Tsunade's questioning, Yunxiao spread his hands innocently, scratched his ears nonchalantly, and responded lightly, "Hey, you didn't ask me just now." Tsunade was so angry that she almost fainted after hearing this. She wanted to punch the fool in front of her twice to relieve her hatred. The 200,000 taels were all her belongings. But, in fact, there is a way to master it instantly, Yunxiao said. Hearing this, Tsunade suppressed the urge to punch Yunxiao. What method? Wait a minute. Yunxiao walked towards the counter again and took out a book. The cover of this book was particularly eye-catching, with a few big words printed on it, King of Thousand Kings hardcover edition. Tsunade saw the words on the cover. After that, he felt that he had been fooled. He clenched his fists tightly, and he could even hear the crunching sound from his joints, as if he was going to punch Yunxiao in the next second and beat him to the ground. Seeing this, Yunxiao hurriedly explained, "Chudo-sak, this is not an ordinary book, this is a skill book, which allows the user to learn the skills in the book instantly." Hearing this, Tsunade quickly loosened her fists and said excitedly, "You mean, you can master it directly without learning?" "That's right. How much is this book?" Tsunade asked curiously. Yunxiao slowly stretched out 3 fingers, 30 million taels. "Don't think it's expensive first, there are 3 kinds of tricks in it, poker, mahjong, and dice. When you master these skills, won't you kill at the gambling table? Winning money is as easy as drinking water. It's just a matter of time to get your money back." Hearing Yunxiao's explanation, Tsunade swallowed the words that were on the tip of her tongue, and she nodded in agreement. It was indeed as Yunxiao said, if you really lose every time you gamble, it's just a matter of time to win tens of millions. "Boss, leave the book to me, I'll go back to get the money." Tsunade ran out quickly. "Shizune, wait for me here, don't let anyone buy this book for me." Looking at Tsunade's back as she left, Shizune was confused. Did Lady Tsunade just leave him here? Where did Lady Tsunade get the money? Thinking of this, Shizune hurriedly chased after her. "Lady Tsunade, you can't sell the clan land." Yunxiao, what's going on? If Yunxiao didn't hear hallucinations just now, Tsunade actually planned to sell the clan land of the Senju clan. If the deceased Hashirama Senju and Tobarama Senju knew about this, they would definitely be very angry. Especially after Tobarama Senju knew about it, I'm afraid he couldn't hold it down. However, Now there is only Tsunade left in the Senju clan, it's better to sell it, so that no one will covet it. Yunxiao murmured. Boss, I'm back. With this shout, Tsunade ran into the store carrying a huge black bag. Tsunade-sama, you slow down, wait for me. Shizune followed closely behind Tsunade, breathless, and said with difficulty. Originally, Shizune wanted to stop Tsunade from selling the Senju clan land, but Tsunade ran too fast and she couldn't catch up with her at all. When Shizune finally arrived at the gate of Konoha village, she saw Tsunade carrying a huge bag out of the village. You can guess what Tsunade is carrying on her shoulders. This is definitely the money from selling the clan land. Seeing this scene, Shizune was petrified on the spot. She never expected that Tsunade's action would be so quick. She was just a little late, and the cold Senju clan land turned into warm money. After seeing Shizune, Tsunade's smile suddenly froze on her face. She asked in disbelief, Shizune, what are you doing here? Didn't I tell you to guard the book in the store? Shizune was almost crying in anxiety. It seemed that Tsunade was really fooled by the boss and actually sold the clan land to buy a book. She was about to persuade Tsunade, but before she could say anything, Tsunade said anxiously, if you don't guard the book, what will happen if someone steals it? As she said that, Tsunade hurriedly carried a sack of money and rushed towards Yunxiao's store. Seeing this, Shizune shook her head helplessly and hurriedly followed. If she had known this, Jingyan would have stayed in Yunxiao's shop obediently from the beginning. This trip almost exhausted her to death. Yunxiao was a little surprised to see Tsunade come back so soon. He thought she would come at least in the evening. He didn't expect that Tsunade would come back with money after such a short time. It seems that this, King of Thousand Kings hardcover edition, is very tempting to Tsunade. Tsunade walked to Yunxiao with a sack on her shoulder, then put the sack on the ground, wiped the sweat from her face, and said with a smile, Boss, I brought the money, count it. Yunxiao nodded and began to count the banknotes in the bag. Because there was a lot of money, and Yunxiao's math was not good, it took a lot of time to count all the money. The money brought by Tsunade was 35 million taels in total. When Yunxiao finished counting all of them, he was already sweating profusely. Because Yunxiao suddenly found out that his commission was actually several tens of thousands less, he found out after asking the system. The system needs to charge a fee to help Yunxiao count the money. This made Yunxiao feel that the system was too deceptive, so he planned to count the money himself. But after counting the 30 or 5 million, he was completely honest. If the system wants to charge a fee, then let it, the money will be earned by the system. If Black Zetsu and Obito saw Yunxiao counting money as slowly as a snail, I'm afraid they would laugh at him mercilessly. After all, as a famous thief duo in the ninja world, they once set an amazing record of accurately counting a huge sum of more than 3 billion in just one day. In this comparison, Yunxiao is really dwarfed. Yunxiao took out the 30 million taels in the bag and put it into the system space. Then, he happily took out the King of Thousand Kings hardcover edition from his arms and handed it to Tsunade. Tsunade took the book with trembling hands. She carefully stroked the cover with her fingers, feeling the unique texture, which made her very excited. Boss, how do I use this book? Tsunade asked with a trembling voice. Yunxiao smiled slightly and explained. You can directly obtain the skills in the book by tearing it off. Hearing this, Tsunade couldn't wait to open this King of Kings hardcover edition. However, surprisingly, although the book looks thick, it was found that there were only 3 sheets of paper in it after opening it. These 3 thin pages were marked with 3 eye-catching titles: Poker, Mahjong, and Dice. Without any hesitation, Tsunade decisively tore off the 3 fragile pieces of paper one by one. At this moment, a miracle happened. Those torn papers suddenly shone with dazzling golden light as if they had life, and turned into countless tiny golden light spots at an astonishing speed. These small dots of light flew into Tsunade's body quickly and accurately, and then disappeared without a trace. At the moment when all the small dots of light were immersed in the body, deep in Tsunade's brain, countless exquisite skills about gambling emerged like a tide. Tsunade was shocked to find that she was actually familiar with various gambling games. She knows the rules, skills and psychological tactics like the back of her hand, as if she has gone through thousands of trials and tribulations and become an unparalleled gambling master. This sudden ability makes Tsunade feel like she is the legendary gambling god who has never tasted failure. With this magical ability, Tsunade can even clearly hear the subtle sound of the dice rolling and accurately judge the number of points each dice will eventually stop at. This extraordinary hearing and judgment makes Tsunade feel like she has a pair of perspective eyes in the casino, and she is always successful. At this moment, Tsunade feels an unprecedented powerful force surging in her body. She firmly believes that as long as she wants, she can instantly transform the originally bad cards in her hand into enviable good cards. This sudden change makes Tsunade, who has always lost every time she gambles, very excited. She feels that she is now terribly strong. Ha ha ha, it's true. I really became the god of gamblers. Tsunade was so excited that she couldn't help herself and laughed heartily, her voice resounding throughout the room. Shizune, who was standing by, was shocked and at a loss. She stared at Tsunade, who seemed to have lost her mind, with confusion and worry in her heart. What happened to Tsunade? It's fine that she was fooled into selling her clan land to buy a broken book, but now she seems to have gone insane. Seeing Tsunade's sudden abnormal behavior, Shizune almost cried. If Tsunade really became a fool, what should she and Tuntun do? Tsunade-sama, are you okay? Shizune asked cautiously, her voice as soft as a mosquito, fearing that she would scare Tsunade and make her already serious illness worse. Shizune didn't see the scene where the book page turned into a light spot and entered Tsunade's body, so she just thought that Tsunade was affected by some mysterious power, causing mental disorder. She prayed secretly, hoping that Tsunade could return to normal as soon as possible and not fall into this crazy state again. Hearing Shizune's words, Tsunade came back to her senses as if she had just woken up from a dream. She quickly bent down, held the purse on the ground tightly with one hand, and held Shizune with the other hand, and then ran out of the store quickly. A hearty and heroic laugh sounded outside the door. Boss, we're leaving first, see you later. Before the voice fell, the two of them disappeared like lightning. Yunxiao walked to the door and watched the two people's backs gradually disappearing. He couldn't help but chuckle and shook his head, muttering to himself, perhaps, from today on, Tsunade's title will change from fat sheep to gambling god. There was an indescribable light in his eyes, as if he had seen Tsunade's killing in the casino. Capital of the Land of Fire. Tsunade-sama, are you telling the truth? Shizune widened her eyes, her face full of disbelief. Of course, I can definitely make a lot of money this time. Tsunade promised solemnly. It turned out that on the way, Tsunade excitedly told Shizune everything about the amazing gambling skills she had acquired in the store. After hearing Tsunade's explanation, Shizune, although she didn't believe in such an outrageous thing in her heart, thought that Tsunade was probably trapped in the illusion cast by the boss and was fooled. But seeing how confident Tsunade was, Shizune couldn't bear to pour cold water on her enthusiasm. Shizune could only sigh silently and helplessly accept the fact that Tsunade was deceived. Just assume that all the money has been lost by Tsunade in gambling. Tsunade was so excited when she saw a casino not far away that she quickly pulled Shizune towards the casino. Shizune, just watch how I 50 million won with 5 million. Shizune didn't say anything. She had seen Tsunade lose everything. After all, before every gambling, Lady Tsunade made such a solemn promise, and then lost all the money soon. Just then, several burly men with hideous faces and scars on their faces suddenly appeared and surrounded Tsunade and Shizune. One of the men rubbed his hands excitedly. Lady Tsunade, are you here to pay back the money? As he spoke, his greedy eyes were fixed on the purse in Tsunade's hand. On hearing this, Tsunade realized that she had borrowed 5 million in high-interest loans from this casino before, and then lost it all. Tsunade subconsciously put the purse behind her. Seeing this, the sturdy man immediately showed an angry look, frowned tightly, and asked in a bad tone, Tsunade-sama, are you going to owe money and not pay it back? Are you going to be a deadbeat? Hearing this, Tsunade couldn't help but twitch her mouth. At this point, she had no choice but to hand the bag in her hand to the sturdy men unwillingly. Tsunade was very upset. If she had known earlier, she would have changed the casino, and come back to pay back the loan sharks after winning money. Now, it's really a death before success. After getting the money bag, several people began to carefully count the silver in it. Not long after, several people finished counting. The leading man nodded with satisfaction and grinned. Well, no more, no less, exactly 5 million taels. Since you are a frequent customer here, I won't charge you interest this time. After that, he casually threw the empty purse back to Tsunade. Tsunade looked at the empty purse in her hand, wanting to cry but without tears. How could she gamble without a penny? Chen Daozi had borrowed 20 yuan back then, but now she was penniless, without even the starting capital. At this moment, she was like a tiger trapped in a cage. Although she had peerless gambling skills, she had nowhere to go. This feeling made her crazy to the extreme. She shouted angrily, if that old man hadn't taken the initiative to turn the Senju clan land into a commercial area, how could I have only sold it for more than 30 million? It turned out that when Tsunade returned to the Senju clan land this time, she found that the original Senju clan land had been demolished and converted into a commercial area several years ago. Only the houses where the great-grandfather Senju Hashirama and the second-grandfather Senju Tobarama lived were left. Tsunade had no choice but to sell these two houses. But what was unexpected was that these two houses alone sold for more than 30 million taels. If the entire Senju clan land was added together, it would definitely be sold at a terrifying price. It is hard to imagine how much money Sarutobi Hiruzen embezzled. Just when Tsunade was desperate, a silver note of 10,000 taels suddenly appeared in front of her. Tsunade looked up in disbelief and saw Shizune handing the silver note in her hand to Shizune. Gave it to herself. Shizune smiled and said, Tsunade-sama, you must win this time. Otherwise, the pig will become our dinner today. Tsunade took the banknote and said seriously, don't worry, Shizune, I will win this time, just watch carefully. Tsunade walked into the casino, and the word, gamble, on her back was particularly conspicuous under the setting sun. Back then, Chen Daozi 37 million won with 20 yuan, and today I, Tsunade, will follow his example. Tsunade walked into the casino. The originally noisy casino. At the moment Tsunade came in, everyone stopped what they were doing and looked at Tsunade excitedly. Some new gamblers asked the people around them curiously, who is this person? Why do you have such expressions? You don't even know the legendary fat sheep in the gambling world. What, she is the legendary fat sheep? That's right, she will lose every time she gambles. As long as you bet against her, you will definitely make a lot of money. After hearing this explanation, those who didn't know Tsunade originally looked at Tsunade with a fiery look, as if they had discovered some rare treasure. Everyone saw Tsunade walk to a gambling table, and in an instant, they all rushed to the gambling table where Tsunade was sitting. This gambling table played a game of betting on the size of the dice. The dealer in charge of shaking the dice began to shake the dice cup in his hand skillfully, and at this time Tsunade's ears trembled slightly, and she had heard the specific points of the dice. Tsunade opened her red lips and said, I bet on big. Before she finished speaking, she took out a full 10,000 taels of silver from her bosom without hesitation and put it on the table. Seeing this, everyone bet on the small points one after another, and no one chose to bet on big with Tsunade. After the dealer confirmed that both parties had placed their bets, he slowly opened the lid of the dice cup. However, a jaw-dropping scene appeared. The dice on the table turned out to be big. The gamblers who were confident and sure that they would win looked at the points on the table in disbelief. For a while, various doubts came one after another. Impossible, this is absolutely impossible. How could it be big? In the casino, Tsunade scanned the shocked expressions of the people around her, her mouth curled up, and she was secretly happy. She had never won so much money in all her gambling years like today. If it was before, Tsunade would have been lucky if she didn't lose all her capital, let alone win money. Because no one chose to bet the same as Tsunade, all the chips on the gambling table belonged to Tsunade, which made her very happy. This money was at least hundreds of thousands of taels. Tsunade happily took the money into her arms. Looking at the money, Tsunade was very excited. She was also feeling better. She could actually win money in the casino. Are you coming? Tsunade asked with a bright smile on her face. Hearing this, the gamblers who were immersed in shock just came back to their senses as if they had just woken up from a dream. In an instant, the originally quiet casino became noisy again. The gamblers were in high spirits, rubbing their hands, staring at the complacent Tsunade with fiery eyes, as if they wanted to eat her alive. Obviously, they all thought that Tsunade was just lucky, and the winner-loss of a round did not mean anything. Of course we have to continue. I don't believe in evil, she will never win again this time. That's right, a lucky win is nothing. That's right, a lucky win once means nothing. HMPH, let me see how I can make this fool return all the money she won before to us double. Tsunade looked at the gamblers, angry expressions, and nodded with satisfaction. She was afraid that these gamblers would not want to gamble with her again. Seeing this, the dealer who was responsible for shaking the dice put the dice into the cup and began to shake it. Seeing this, everyone subconsciously held their breath, not daring to make a sound, which would affect their judgment. Dingling, clang. The sound of the dice hitting the cup wall is particularly obvious in the quiet casino. Pa! Suddenly, the dealer put the cup on the gambling table and shouted, "You can place your bets, everyone. Buy and leave, buy and leave." Hearing the dealer's shouting, the gamblers did not place their bets immediately, but looked in the direction of Tsunade. Seeing everyone looking at her, Tsunade scratched her ears. "Why are you looking at me? Why don't you place your bets?" Then, Tsunade took out half of the bills and threw them on the gambling table. "I'm betting big this time." Seeing Tsunade's wealth, the gamblers were instantly excited. The fat sheep was still the same fat sheep as before. Even if she won by chance, she was just a fat sheep with better luck. A gambler took out the money in his hand without hesitation, slammed it heavily on the table, and shouted loudly, "I'm betting small." "Me too," another gambler echoed. Seeing this, the other gamblers seemed to be under a spell, scrambling to take out their money and betting on small points. They all thought that Tsunade couldn't win again this time. How could she bet big twice in a row? The dealer standing by watched all this expressionlessly. After everyone placed their bets, he slowly picked up the cup. The moment the cup was picked up, the gamblers stretched their necks and widened their eyes to see the points on the plate clearly, fearing that they would miss any details. However, when they finally saw the points on the dice, the confident expressions on their faces disappeared instantly, replaced by an unbelievable look, and the originally noisy casino became silent for a while. After an unknown amount of time, one person came back to his senses and shouted loudly, "What a joke! How is this possible?" Then, several more gamblers shouted indignantly, "Why? When did her luck become so good? This is not fair. She is really lucky. Come on, I don't believe that 3 consecutive bets are big." There was no need for Tsunade to speak. The gamblers who had lost their money could no longer suppress their inner impulse and started a new round of gambling on their own. Tsunade took the banknotes on the table and placed them in front of her, signaling the dealer to start. Seeing this, the dealer immediately put the dice into the cup and began to shake it frantically. After a long time, the dealer put the cup on the gambling table. "Everyone, you can place your bets. I'm betting on small." A gambler took out a stack of money and put it on the table. "Me too, it's impossible for 3 consecutive bets to be big." "That's right, unless there is something fishy going on in this casino, how could it be possible for 3 consecutive bets to be big?" As he said this, the gamblers took out their money without hesitation and threw it on the gambling table. After hearing this group of gamblers, when Tsunade said this, she couldn't help showing a very strange expression. Because she had heard that the number of points on the dice was really big this time. Tsunade subconsciously cast her eyes on the dealer who shook the dice. At this time, the dealer's face was as pale as paper, and a layer of dense beads of sweat had already appeared on his forehead. Obviously, facing such a tense and exciting situation and the aggressive eyes of many gamblers, the poor dealer has fallen into extreme panic. After all, he is just a novice dealer who has just joined the company and has not received formal professional training in the casino. He can't change the number of points on the dice in the cup, so he was assigned to the ordinary field. But he didn't expect that a big boss would appear in the ordinary field today. He didn't know whether the other party was lucky or strong, but he had guessed the number of points in the cup twice in a row. Seeing the group of gamblers in front of him looking at him with suspicion, the dealer was under great pressure. If the number in the cup is still high, the consequences will be extremely serious. Thinking of this, the dealer trembled all over, and his mind was in a mess. "I still bet on high," Tsunade said confidently with a raised corner of her mouth. Before she finished speaking, she threw the stack of banknotes in her hand casually to the center of the table without hesitation. Seeing Tsunade bet so decisively, the dealer couldn't help but tremble all over. It can't be really high, right? He held the cup tightly in his hand, cold sweat on his forehead, and prayed in his heart, God bless, don't bet high again this time. However, the opposite happened. When he opened the cup tremblingly, the number of dice in front of him was just as Tsunade expected. It was still high. Why is it high again? What's going on? A gambler couldn't help but curse. There must be a conspiracy. Otherwise, how could it be possible to open a big number so many times in a row? Yes, it is definitely a conspiracy. For a while, shouts rang out in the entire casino, confidential. Conspiracy. Conspiracy. Everyone was excited and accused the gambling game of being tricky. Faced with the scene of public outrage, the poor dealer had already turned pale and sweated profusely. He shook his head and waved his hands desperately, trying to explain to everyone that he did not cheat, but no one was willing to believe him at this time. In fact, the dealer knew better than anyone that he really did not do anything. Even if he really wanted to do something, he would not do it. Looking at the chaotic scene in the field, the dealer was almost crying in a hurry. At this time, he was really more wrong than Doi. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.